Victor.
Travis and Sliwa has clearance right now.
Yeah! And that is for Hunter Wendelstedt sucks. We'll get to him in a second. That's unbelievable.
Probably not good to know umps by first and last name.
Well, he comes from an umpiring tree. Oh, my God.
So he's a Nepo baby now?
Yes. Imagine being the son of a famous umpire who becomes an umpire. Worst person alive. My God. Awful. Wendelstedt, we see you. Great. You're there. You're an umpire in the big leagues. Congratulations to you. Awful.
You gotta be mad at some of those bullpen guys too. No. Also, there's other people to be angry at.
There are, and we're gonna get to them because I've had way too much coffee. Wendelstedt absolutely screwed the Dodgers last night, and then the bullpen came in and burned the damn stadium to the ground. Awful.
It's on behind you. You want to relive it.
No, I don't.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
How you feel, Slee?
I will say this. You don't do this very often.
I'm pissed. It sucks.
No, I'm not even talking about that. No, that part is your emotion is the best. That you share that anytime you want.
Oh, look. I stand there in a stupid little blue shirt, and interference. Shut up. It wasn't interference. How does the damn spirit of the rule never matter? Look. Oh, my dad was a big league ump. What do I care? And he didn't even have to answer any questions afterward. He sent his little buddy, the crew chief, out to do it.
He's gone. They don't answer questions.
These guys are the worst.
They don't answer questions.
Sorry.
It's like a security guard out.
Sorry.
Back in the day,
how are you feeling?
You're like 20, 21 years old, and you got like a security guard out there. Okay, here's why I'm feeling fine.
Good.
But
I'm better now.
The one thing that you said to me that doesn't typically happen, it happens maybe once every 2 weeks or so, maybe a little bit later than that. It's called once a month. Sometimes you come in and you have a cup of coffee and you're like, Slee, I'm telling you right now, I do not need another cup of coffee. I'm like, all right.
Pretty good.
I mean,
tastes good today.
Yeah, don't drink it if you don't need it.
I'm
and the first thing you start doing is just taking it down. You got more energy than I've ever seen. The crash will come, but it's not going to come to like 1:15.
Maybe 10:20.
Buenos dias.
We'll see what happens. Coming in a little bit. Roars to you, Em. How you feeling?
Comes at 10:20.
So you can just be like me and just nothing matters.
Are you in a bit of a nihilistic situation?
I'm in nihilism corner today.
What the hell's going on with everybody today?
It's just that nothing matters.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear this.
I've just been like, I don't know, some shows that I've watched have like some more nihilistic content. I watched another movie that again makes me feel like, I don't know. I'm just in a spot of like nothing matters.
You know what we need, Em? You and we need to go get a couple of drinks after the show today.
Optimism is with the Dodgers, nothing matters. So there's at least
all
that,
right.
It's like even if they got that win taken from them, it doesn't matter.
We got Camus over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Just nothing matters. Everything is. We all end up dead.
Yeah, exactly. We're all gonna. Anyway, sorry guys.
That's all right.
Buenos dias, Jorge.
Buenos dias.
Jorge, you look good.
Hey man, this past week was a little rough, but today I come in feeling great, and that feels like we switched roles here.
I feel fine. Like
Jorge
I'm actually.
sent us a text. What time did the Dodger game start? What was first pitch?
7:03.
He sent us a text like already a home run.
Yeah,
Stone already gave up a home run.
And by the way, he's going to hit 2 more. He only hit 3 last night.
Schwarber might be one of the players that when he hits one, like when he hits a
there are
home
no
run,
doubters.
Yeah, that's like
there are no doubters. He's pretty strong. And he swings real hard, and he's very good at this.
Connects every time.
Yeah, I'm in a little bit of a crisis is the wrong word because I feel really good.
Yeah. We had a good time yesterday. You and I hung out a
we
little
did
bit
have a good time yesterday. Yeah, we got some Johnny Walker Blue out of the situation. I mean, who doesn't like that, right? I mean, it
was
was
not a big deal, guys. Not a big deal. It's just kind of how
Jerry Jones over here.
We were for 20 minutes. It was pretty great.
We roll.
We went to see our pal Joseph S. Normand yesterday. That was a good day. I'm in a good mood just as long as we don't talk about Hunter Wendelstedt and the Dodger bullpen and a 3-game lead in a division that they should probably win by 20 games. But other than that, we're all good.
The only thing that I will say to that, I'm down to not bring any of that stuff up, but it's 10:05, brother. We got a long way to go to 112. filling
What'd you
in
have for
some of
lunch
that
yesterday?
stuff. We have a draft coming up. We'll do our draft.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll do our factor cap. We'll do a medal count. We'll do all that stuff. USA is going to come up at noon. France is probably going to beat Germany. But even if we get through all that, I feel like it will be 10:27.
Maybe.
Kind of have to talk about the
Maybe.
Dodgers today.
I guess so. We'll do it. We'll do it. But I did have a good. We got a sandwich yesterday. We went to see Joe. Got to see the
kind of
offices.
sandwich?
we had a little Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's.
Yeah,
I had an
Jersey Mike's,
Italian
actually.
on white.
Mike's Way?
I believe it was Mike's Way. Yes. I
I'm the
believe it
boring
was.
guy in the group. I did turkey on wheat when healthy. Tried to go the healthy route. By the way, I don't even
Okay.
know if that's healthy.
Yes, get your walks in again. Here's me offering up walk talk because
got my
nothing
walk.
matters.
She's in a. No, I yesterday was. I'm
You want to
take
go walk talk?
my
I'm going to
my
go
off
right now
day.
to my app.
I had a nearly 3-hour drive home yesterday, so I decided
yeah.
that I was going to celebrate by eating and laying on the couch.
Okay.
When you say, I'm sorry, real quick. When you say you had an off day, you sound like a pitcher.
I needed an off day.
Yeah,
I'm
like
down.
you
As
just
they say, I was down yesterday.
Came out of the bullpen. You already pitched. You actually had to pitch.
I'd pitched
an
several
inning and
days in a
third,
row.
And now they're not using you in the in the second day.
Okay,
Exactly.
I've changed my mind about things too. Here's Emily. I'm changing every day. I think I should be more respectful of people that are late to things because yesterday I was babysitting in Santa Monica and then I was meeting my friend to see a movie here. So
Downtown?
Yeah, downtown. So I finished babysitting at 5:35. I get movie starts the trailers start at 6:45. So
Okay, so
I was
hour
thinking,
10?
An hour and 10. I think I was going to get in right at 6:45 is probably my goal.
Okay.
No, I get there. I park at 7:00, and I go downstairs. And again, this is at the Alamo, and they have a very strict rules.
I'm sorry. What time does the movie start?
Yes, exactly. And this is where I'm changing. 6:45. I'm changing, and the idea that people can be late. Traffic does happen. It was worse traffic yesterday than I
Why
usually
she
have.
missed the previews, bro?
I know, exactly. Even
missed
though
the
I go to the
previews.
Alamo all the time, I've seen these previews all before, so it's not like I'm new to this stuff. But I go downstairs, and I go to show my ticket that I have a ticket, and they apparently stop letting people in 15 minutes after the movie time starts. So if it's 6:45 start,
Jorge and
7
I are
o'clock
kicked out.
is
Yeah,
when you
AMC.
are not allowed upstairs to go to this movie theater. I literally show this person, it's 7 o'clock. My phone says 7 o'clock. They're like, sorry, we can't let you up. I was like, it's 7 o'clock. Also, the trailers, I told them, I was like, do you know who I am? No, but I guarantee you, the movie has not started.
Okay.
Do you know what I've done
Guarantee
for
you.
this company?
And then they're like, it's actually 7:01 now.
Yeah, but it wasn't when we started.
And
Was
then-
Hunter Wendelstedt
and then-
running the movie theater last night?
Exactly. And then the person behind us just let her go. And then I was like, yeah. And then she's like, just go fast. And I was like, cool. I sat down. They had not even finished taking everybody's orders. I got there in plenty of time. Again, I was more like a Bobby there. So I understand now that I should be more lenient with people who are late to movie theaters because sometimes things happen.
Sometimes stuff
you get.
happens.
So
Do
again,
you get till 7 or do you get till 6:59?
exactly.
I don't have the answer. I'm just asking.
I know what Hunter Wendelstedt would do. No, you're out. Yeah, but it's not that I'm here. You guys haven't started anything in
Yeah.
school. Yeah, no, you're out.
What would have
spirit-
happened?
okay, the
What
spirit
would have
of the rule-
happened
Right.
if they didn't let you in? Would that have kind of changed your whole?
I would have. Bad side to be. I probably would have been very Karen-y. I would have been very mad. My friend was already there. My friend was already in the theater with me, and I
Yep.
probably would have again not been a great. But again,
You or I might have gotten a phone call that night like, hey, something's happened. Can you come and get me out of the L.A. County or L.A. City detention
I would
facility?
have got a text from her saying, "Hey, listen back to the show. You sucked today."
going back to what you were saying about relating this to the referee, the spirit of the rule of the 15-minute window is that's when the movie officially starts. You just missed the previews, but by the spirit of the rule, I still had 2 trailers that I got to see when I sat down in my seat at 7:02. So anyway,
Solid 6 minutes.
That's why we're where we are today.
That's
that
why
and
we
a
are.
bunch of other things. But anyway, nothing
Okay.
matters.
Let's get into a bunch of the other things.
Nothing matters, and we should just life is
The
fine.
world
Like
is
AK
nothing
says-
but blackness and empty holes.
Like AK said, you have till 11 o'clock, Emily. Till 11 o'clock.
I don't even know if I want to go to 11 o'clock. Maybe nothing matters, and I'll just go.
All right, give us some good news. How was your day? You good?
Everything's fine. The kids are healthy. Took them into the
Good. Oh, they got their shots.
Oh, they got the shots.
Well,
yeah.
Jorge's got a positive life. Like
Everything-
so
everything's
anytime
cool.
it's negative, we got to go to Jorge.
Yeah, no, Rams starting. I'm craving the carnitas. So.
Are you bringing carnitas?
If there's any left Sunday morning at El Momo, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh.
We'll see.
Now I'm really
We'll see.
excited to
So,
come
yeah.
and do the Rams game.
But
on
I'm not
Sunday
gonna.
morning.
I'm not gonna bust an out here where I promise you something. And I
Which
show
one
you
did I
that.
promise?
Yeah,
The sandwiches.
Yeah, you saw the time slot. They had something
Yeah,
online.
but
here.
he did something different. He did what you said. I'm
Yeah.
bringing sandwiches.
Yeah.
What you didn't say was I'm bringing sandwiches if they're open.
Right.
What he said is if there are carnitas, I
Left.
will bring them.
I don't like that you learned from my mistake.
Well, that's humanity, right? If you're really paying attention, you will learn from other people's
Guys,
mistakes, so
hey.
you don't have to repeat the same mistakes along the
So
way.
carnitas El Momo, they tend to run out early in the
Yeah.
morning. So that's why if they have some, I'll bring some. If not, then sorry.
So if he brings some,
Yes,
pregame starts at 11:30.
11:30. Cowboys. They play the Cowboys at 1:30 at SoFi Stadium.
So
In
Holmes.
in a very important game that means so much to
Huge
the
game.
Rams.
Yes.
Huge game.
Yes. I do think that the
McVay's
starters
job on the
will
line if they lose.
be there. I think they will show up in the stadium.
That's the
Beyond
only thing that can
I don't
happen.
know.
That's like McVay decided. He's like, yeah, I'm just not going to play anybody. The next thing it's going to be like, basically the starters don't even show up.
Yeah.
They're posting on Instagram that they're out at a rest. They're still on vacation. They're in Cancun.
The most important thing that can happen this weekend is they show off their new sideline gear.
I was gonna
Like, they
say,
show off that.
We're going to get a look at I don't know who provides the gear, if it's Nike or whoever it is, but we'll get a new look at the hats, the T-shirts for the season. They kind of opening weekend, you get your first look, and then the season starts. There's usually some new stuff. Middle of the year, we'll go to like the Military Appreciation Month or Breast Cancer Awareness Month or whatever, and you get a new wave of gear. There's like 4 or 5 waves of gear throughout the season. We get the first one on Sunday afternoon.
All
And,
right.
oh, by the way, the Cowboys guys that will never play will play the Rams guys that will never play.
Hey, what's up, Holmes?
Will we see Josh Carty, though? That's one thing.
I hope so.
So at least I hope that he makes some field goals. That's something to root for.
Josh Carty would be good. I'm here for that. Honestly, you know what'll be kind of interesting? Stetson Bennett. A little bit that he hasn't played since last preseason. He's been a little bit better in camp. So keep in mind, Jimmy G is ineligible to play the first 2 weeks of the season. So if Matthew Stafford hits his thumb on a helmet, twists
God
his ankle,
forbid.
whatever it is, Stetson Bennett, it's next man up. So a little bit of stuff to watch there. All right.
Is preseason also like get down there? Are you like assessing the media room? What's it look
So we
like?
did preseason from here.
Oh yeah, that's right. You
Yeah.
guys don't go down there.
Yeah, we won't get that until week 2 when they
All
come
right.
home.
Well, I know you know people inside there, so I got to find how's the coffee machine doing?
There'll be
Just
plenty
got to
of
make
coffee.
sure. We
Oh, they
just
have an
gotta make
espresso
sure.
machine in there.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but it doesn't always work.
That's my
Oh,
point. My
okay.
point is that
It's only worked like one season.
It worked for Arsenal.
frequently out of order.
it
And
has 7 buys a year.
I think it's worked twice, 3 times. But they have canned Starbucks Nitros, which are wonderful, just terrific.
If I drank one of those, I literally would run to Alpine, East San Diego.
All right, let's talk about what happened last night, because as bad as that call was, and it was, that was not the only. We've got huge problems in Dodger land. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Motors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Summer. Wait, we need to finish school shopping.
We got this. The kids' favorite Good and Gather snacks at Target are now at a new lower price.
And $5 lunch boxes. Let's get Luna the Flower Bento Box.
Good idea. And for our Mega Shark Fan Max, I got the Shark Backpack. It's only $20.
Even 25-cent select crayons and $6 teas.
And we're done.
Now, where were we?
Cheers to us. When it comes to finishing your supply list, Target has your back to school. Hey kids, Uncle Artie here from Pernia Law, here to tell you about a newer sponsorship deal with Matt Barnes, who has deep LA roots, former Bruin and pro basketball player for both LA teams.
If you're looking for the best possible results after an accident, call my guy, Uncle Artie, at Pernia Law. And there's never any upfront fees. They collect when you collect. And for the record, their win-loss record puts them in the top of the standings. That's 844-DIAL-UNC. That's 844-DIAL-UNC.
Escape to paradise at Terranea Resort on the breathtaking Palos Verdes Peninsula. Enjoy 102 acres of oceanfront luxury with panoramic Pacific views. Relax in style with a variety of accommodations, from elegant guest rooms to private villas. Indulge at diverse dining venues and rejuvenate at the award-winning spa. Visit Terranea.com to book your stay today. Terranea Resort, luxury on the Southern California coast.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Tired of wasting your money on testosterone booster products that just don't work? We don't blame you. That's why Nugenix Total T lets you try before you buy. Just text HOT to 369-369 to claim your complimentary sample. Why have millions of men already trusted Nugenix for a man-boosting increase in their testosterone levels? Well, nothing else is like it. It contains Tesnor, a key ingredient shown to work. Nugenix Total T boosts free and total testosterone levels to help you feel better at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom. It's the #1 doctor-recommended brand and #1 at GNC and #1 at Walmart. But don't take our word for it. Try before you buy. If it works, keep using it. If not, keep the sample. You've got nothing to lose, but you could gain energy, muscle drive, even more passion. Text HOT to 369-369. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text HOT to 369-369.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is the Mid-Morning Spectacular live from LA Live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
So I really don't want to start any beef here, but I feel like I have to at least give equal time to the opposite side of the issue. She kind of slid it in a little bit quick, so maybe you heard it, maybe you didn't.
Okay.
When she was talking about kind of showing up late to the movies, but still having plenty of time to see the movie, she said, I pulled a Bobby, right? That was her line. Well, he has weighed in, Emily. He is apparently listening on the all-new ESPN LA app because he now is a resident of the city of brotherly love. And he says, damn, Emily, it's like that? Ooh. Sounds to me like you should have allowed yourself more time.
Yeah, get in there,
right.
Bobby.
Say, made it.
Get in there, bro.
I should have seen a 7 p.m. movie instead of a 6:45 movie.
That's right.
Or I should have made sure that I left at 5:30 instead of 5:35.
I did not think that I would see the
Bobby,
day where Bobby was throwing shade for
Bobby
arriving late. That's pretty great.
His game plan of saying, you know what, guys, I know I got to take a flight out of John Wayne. I want to go see El Segundo real quick. He had time to take a drive with Susan, enjoy beautiful El Segundo, and then still get back and get on that John Wayne flight.
You know what, Bobby? I wasn't late because I went to the AMC in Century City instead of going to the Alamo in downtown LA, so at least I knew where I was going. Look, as well as I made it with enough time. Gangster, whatever he said. I had 2 trailers left. Here. I was not late.
Look,
this is Travis's son.
You're all right. Here's the thing. Just everybody give yourself a little more time. Double check your airport departure site. Just, can't we all get along?
I thought I had enough time. I just, yesterday, I had that sleep thing that happened to you, where my entirety of my trip from Santa Monica to downtown LA was just one red block saying traffic is going to add an hour and 30 minutes to your drive. So that's what yesterday was.
I was coming in this morning, coming north on the 5, and the signs that not my nav, which is just, it's usually really, really close.
Digital signs.
The digital signs. It says 2 left lanes blocked on northbound 105. Seek alternate routes. Well, I'm just about there, and I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be a nightmare. It's the easiest drive I've ever had in my life. I don't know if they scared everybody off or whatever it is. Fine, just cruise right in.
Every time I drive down, I always try to figure this out. I'm trying to drive down to San Diego. I know, listen, there's certain times, nothing you could do about it. But I'm driving down to SD, where the 78 freeway is, which is kind of the Escondido. Like, that will take you east.
East, yeah.
They've had signs of construction in progress, this, that, these orange signs. And it starts a little bit earlier. every time I drive through it, by the time you actually get to that area, there's actually no construction. The signs are just still there. I think people just have it in their mind. I see a construction. I'm just going to stop right here as if somebody has a wheelbarrow walking right by me on the freeway. There's nothing going on.
Yeah, just
I don't know if they think there's like a concrete mixer in the lane, in the middle lane.
Bobby, I know you've been to Philadelphia already, so this isn't your first time in Philadelphia. But ask some Wawa and send us some pics. Send what Wawa order you get, and then I will critique your Wawa.
Okay, I don't even know what that means, but is that a threat or is that like a real suggestion?
No, it's a real suggestion.
Okay.
I really want to see his Wawa order. It's a gas station, quote unquote. But it has services food.
Okay.
And it's actually really good food. It's really clean. It's very good. Has really good sandwiches. Hoagies. The hoagie.
Hoagies.
The hoagie
He's
fest.
got to go to that market, the Reading Terminal Market.
It is nearby, but there's all over Philadelphia.
Market's your move, amazing. Kid. You go to Wawa. All right, I want to play this for you very quickly. Last night, 6th inning. Dodgers have a 1-run lead. Runners at first and second base. Nobody out. And the Philadelphia Phillies attempt a sacrifice bunt. Kike Hernandez comes in from third base to field the bunt, turns to throw the ball to third base where Miguel Rojas is covering, or I should say there's a runner at second at this point, to apply the tag, which he applies in plenty of time. The runner slides in, and the third base umpire, Hunter Wendelstedt, ruled that Miguel Rojas, for an obstruction violation, he awarded the runner third base. There was no out recorded on the play. So now instead of 1 out with a runner at first base and the Dodgers with a 1-run lead, there are runners at the corner with nobody out. And that's when all hell broke loose. The Dodgers played like you-know-what after that. But Dave Roberts comes out to argue, gets ejected. It's an unreviewable play. It's an unarguable play. And even, fast forward an hour and 15 minutes after the game, Dave was still hot.
As I looked at the replay, he missed the call. And this might be the first time I've ever said that it was an egregious missed call.
It was.
Their job's hard. That changed the game.
It did.
When you're playing baseball and you are an infielder on the move trying to field a ball coming to you and you have an oncoming base runner, you still have to secure the baseball, know that the runner is still coming towards third base, and then you got to put a tag. It's a tag play. And so as I saw the replay, Miggy fielded the baseball about a foot in front of the bag, 2 feet in front of the bag, and did give Bohm a lane because his legs were spread wide with the glove making the tag. And so the spirit of the rule was to deter infielders from blocking the bag, not giving a base runner a lane or a spot towards a bag, and potentially hurting the base runner. And so this play, again, he's on the move, he fields the ball, his legs are spread wide, so the lane is in between his legs, and he makes a tag. And so with that, again, it's fast. It needs to be reviewable. That play changed the complexion of the game, and he got it wrong. That's just a fact.
Okay, so I want to start with what he said at the beginning. Dave is not a hothead. Dave is not a guy that gets kicked out of a bunch of games as his first ejection of the season. This isn't Aaron Boone, who's constantly involved in conflict with umpires and getting kicked out of the game. There are a lot of calls in games that, somebody will chirp and say something, but, bad calls are a part of baseball. This, I agree with Roberts in what he's saying. This was an egregiously missed call. This just wasn't a bad call that, you missed it and, you probably should have done a better job. It was an egregious call because it was entirely unnecessary. The point of that obstruction rule is to prevent injury. The point of that rule is to prevent infielders or the catcher or whoever from setting up in front of the bag and potentially hurting a base runner who's coming in where they have to slide awkwardly or there's a collision or something.
Especially if they're coming in head first.
Right. There was no collision. There was a clear path to the bag, like he mentioned Rojas, because of where his body was positioned. His feet were kind of straddling the bag. He wasn't in anybody's way. There was no chance of injury. And like Dave said, the spirit of the rule has to mean something. By the letter of the law, there's a whole bunch of things you could call that you never do because it didn't affect play. for reasons that apply almost exclusively to umpires, they can't stand it when they're not a part of the story. A good umpire, and there are some, comes in, you never notice him or her, and they leave, and you never think about them again. That is the best case scenario for any official, referee, umpire, whatever. This guy makes a big production out of it, hooks Dave Roberts right after it, stands there looking into the Dodger dugout, knowing he blew it, and just made himself a part of the story, which is the worst thing that an umpire can do.
It's a terrible call. Like, I think everybody understands that. It's a bad call. It's a stupid call. It doesn't make sense. It is unfortunate that they can't review it. This might kind of get into those testy waters of when we talk about the NBA or the NFL. Okay, you can review that, but why can't you review this? Maybe for Major League Baseball, this becomes something down the road that they say, you know what, this is a little bit, let's tweak this. If we're going to have reviews, let's at least talk about this as well. Most predicaments in situations like this, if it happens, maybe it could have a real effect on the game. Maybe it has no effect on the game. I think yesterday's game, it clearly had a huge effect on that Dodgers loss.
Yeah.
Here's the one problem that I have. The Dodgers and Dave Roberts spent 4 minutes talking about that in his presser. That's fine. Spend 30 minutes if you want. I don't know how much that has to do with that one play, or is Dave Roberts just frustrated about a number of different things right now with the Dodgers? The game didn't end up being 5-4 Philly yesterday. It ended up being 9-4. Again, I'm not saying that that's not a critical play. I'm not saying that umpire is wrong. It's one of the worst things to watch in any sport when an umpire or referee wants to stick his chest out.
Sure.
Why? Nobody's here to.
So their dad sees them on TV. That's why.
When that NBA referee throws out Giannis Antetokounmpo in the middle of the second quarter, and all those people that pay to go see Giannis can't see it anymore. Like, I get it that there are times where this is incredibly frustrating. What I'm trying to figure out is Dave Roberts this frustrated because of that one play, or is Dave Roberts watching the Los Angeles Dodgers, who were up 8, 9, 10 games not that much long ago in the division, and is he watching it unfold in front of him where it's obviously going the wrong way? The last thing I'll just say, and I think this is, the Dodgers clearly are running into a season where they thought, maybe a lot of people thought, this is going to be smooth sailing. You got Shohei, you got Glasnow, you got Yamamoto. You could look at all this talent that they have. The thing I didn't like, and I think if you're a Dodger fan, you shouldn't like as well, things are not always going to go your way in a baseball game. And what you do after that is important, because there's going to be other moments in the regular season and potentially moments in the playoffs where it doesn't go their way. They folded shop after that inning. After that play, it was like the game was over, even though they had a lead, and I know there's runners at the corners, and I'm not trying to downplay how bad the call was.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I feel like the reaction to the call is not just about that call. It's the Dodgers also playing really bad baseball right now.
Yes to everything you said. Yes to everything you said. It's all of it. It's all of it. Where I will push, and I'm not even pushing back, but where I will color in some context to some of this, the Dodgers are on tilt right now. They are not playing well, or at least they're not in a position in the division that they expected to be. I'm with you on all of that.
Just look at the last 2 months, right?
All of it.
500 ball or below 500.
All of that, yes. But when you're playing a team as good as that team, and it is a one-run game, and we are into the later stages of the game, in this case, the sixth inning.
Sure.
The difference between one on at first with one out and a one-run lead and on the corners with nobody out.
Big difference.
It's a and this isn't, you're not playing the Chicago White Sox.
Sure.
Kyle Schwarber's coming up. Trey Turner. A call when two teams are heavyweights like the Dodgers and the Phillies are, something like that really can swing. Now, I want to argue with you, but I'm not going to be disingenuous.
The Dodgers bullpen would say otherwise.
The Dodgers rolled over after it happened.
Yeah.
They absolutely rolled over after it happened.
And that's the piece that I think is as critical as any of this. Because, like I said, you're going to run into situations.
For sure.
Things aren't going your way.
I get it, but that's a rational, reasonable response in a highly competitive environment that afterwards, yes. But in the moment, it's that guy screwed me, and I lost because of it. You need to try to lift yourself out of it as quickly as you can, but I understand the emotional component of it, especially when you're going up against a team. You know, they're competing for the best record in the National League. These are meaningful stakes at this point of the season, and Wendelstedt blew it, and then he did that thing where he had his shoulders back and his chest out, like looking around like, check me out, which is enraging.
Idiotic.
It's enraging. But I think what you brought up, Slee, is what I want to talk about next. It is all of the other stuff, and I saw something last night that was as disheartening as anything I've seen all season long. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
All right, play your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino, Southern California's premier resort casino experience. Before summer's over here, I got to really encourage a lot of us out here in Southern California that are looking for some type of a staycation. Go drive an hour south, I-15, right off the I-15 in Temecula, Southern California's one of the most best casino resorts you're going to see, not just in Southern California, really across the country. Pechanga gives you all the amenities. You can expect world-class resort, exceptional entertainment, dining, spa, and golf, and let's not forget the round-the-clock gaming excitement. By the way, 1,100 hotel rooms and suite. The spa is beautiful. The golf course is amazing. That's Journey Golf Course there. 20 bars and restaurants and so much more. And just a great place to take your family, take the kids. I'm going to give you the website. At least go on there and take a look, see if it's something for you and the family, but I do think you'll really enjoy it. Visit Pechanga.com or call 888-PECHANGA to book a reservation for more information. Also follow them on Instagram at Pechanga Casino for up-to-the-minute news and info.
You never...
Hey, ESPN LA listeners, it's John Ireland. You want to play golf with me and corporate Greg Bergman? You can, thanks to Terranea. If you listen to the show, you know Terranea is my favorite place in the world. It's like going to Hawaii without getting on a plane. Well, you can play golf with Bergman and I at the links at Terranea, and then we'll buy you lunch. Here's how you win. Send a video of your golf swing to @ESPN Los Angeles on Instagram or on Twitter. We'll take a look at your golf swing. If you impress us, you'll be playing golf at Terranea with me and Bergman, and then we'll buy you lunch. And you can all you can eat, all you can drink. We don't care. We're not paying.
2000 or visit normandlegal.com.
The law office of Joseph S. Normand.
Rams fans, don't miss out on any of the action and catch every home game with 2024 season tickets. Watch the Rams go head-to-head with the Raiders, Eagles, Bills, 49ers, Cowboys, and more at SoFi Stadium. We can't wait to see you back at the Rams house. To secure your season tickets, visit therams.com/2024. Again, that is therams.com/2024. Secure your season tickets and see you at the Rams house.
John Ireland here to tell you about my friends at Mirror Audio Video in Westwood. Listen, if you're thinking about upgrading your home or office with the best brands in the world, like Crestron, Nice, Lutron, or Control 4, it's got to be Mirror and no one else. Why? Because for more than 40 years, the biggest names in Hollywood, sports, and business have all trusted Mirror, and so should you. Want to learn more? Call 310-234-4010 or check them out at mirroraudiovideo.com today.
When your job demands more than just hard work, trust Timberland Pro, the brand that defines superior comfort, performance, and durability. Built on a legacy of craftsmanship, Timberland Pro provides boots and apparel that stand up to the toughest challenges. Our products are as resilient as the skilled men and women who wear them. From the workshop to the job site, Timberland Pro is there with you every step of the way, blending innovation with time-tested quality. Discover why professionals choose Timberland Pro. Always do, never done. Visit timberlandpro.com or your local Timberland Pro dealer.
This year, Dell Technologies Back to School event is delivering impressive tech with an inspiring purpose. Learn how Dell is helping Computer Aid, whose work is helping solar community hubs with tech and AI literacy skills to empower remote, displaced, or disconnected communities around the world. Help Dell make a difference and shop AI-ready PCs powered by Snapdragon X Series processors at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
It's Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa.
But do you think it's the right move? Do you think it's the right strategy?
No. Live from LA Live on 710 ESPN.
Quick little Olympic update. The winner of today's other semifinal between the United States and Serbia will play the French in the gold medal game.
Yeah,
France just beat
upset
Germany
city here.
73-69.
Oui, oui, sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu, indeed.
In front of their own peeps.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so in
Wemby,
front of their own
very
folks.
emotional, was like he was crying there. So
Look, you get it in your home country, and you
Sure.
get to a gold medal match against a team that very, very likely you're going to be playing the Americans, who will be heavily favored in that game. And they got a chance to, what if it was the Miracle on Ice in 1980, what would this be? What if the French were somehow able to beat the Americans?
Miracle in the paint.
Miracle on ice. I don't know.
Is that your attempt at French?
Yeah. I just say things that are English, but like with a bad accent.
Francais
She does it
accent?
with Spanish, too. She'll just throw a couple L's in
Yeah.
there.
See.
The one kind of funny thing, which kind of reminds me of college, I don't know if you could see, and I probably weren't watching it. In the tunnel, USA is just standing there waiting.
Oh, that's
so
right.
they're
It's
watching
like a high
the
school
game.
tournament,
It's like
yeah.
a high school tournament.
Yeah.
It's literally
Yeah.
like an AAU tournament.
And like ACC, Pac-12 tournament too. At
Yep.
that time, they all stack them up.
In the tunnel, you just have like Ty Lue, Eric Spoelstra, and Tatum. I'm like, what? Why are they standing there like hey, guys, I forgot my socks. Like it felt like it was a high school game.
The American players seem like they're having a ball, right? They really do. Like they seem like they're enjoying themselves, but
because they're good.
Well, sure, and there's there's pressure obviously because if you don't win, it's a catastrophe.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But there also is very, very limited circumstances where they're not going to win. It's something really strange would have to happen for them not to win.
I will say this. You and I were talking about this, I want to say a week ago or so. I think I had mentioned to you, hey, who's the youngest, most excited, the player you're most excited to watch over the next 10 years? And we were having the conversation about Anthony Edwards, and you're like, well, there's one player I think I'd pick before him, Wemby.
Yeah, sure.
Wemby's in the gold game against the USA.
Well, you talk about like jump-starting. What if he shocked the world and won the game?
And I think there's just a little bit of like, wait a minute. Wemby a year ago had never played an NBA game. A year later is about to be in a game where he's taking on KD, LeBron, Steph Curry, Joel Embiid. I mean, it's a cool – I'm not telling you that France is going to beat the United States, but that's pretty damn cool that he's a part of that.
Yeah. Look, it's the only thing that would get me to flip on my TV.
Spurs should trade him.
I've loved – like I'm watching the women's 1,500-meter semifinal. I'm into that 10,000 times more than I am the men's basketball tournament or the women's basketball tournament because I don't know who's going to win this. I know that the women's basketball team is going to smash whoever they play. I know that the men's basketball team is going to smash whoever they play.
Let's use this last game. I think you and I have said this before, too. I'm more interested in the teams that aren't playing USA because a Germany-France is actually a good game. It's a close game, a couple. So
went down to the wire. All right, reminder, just like yesterday, today, you're going to want to listen for your cue to call. And if you're caller number 7, you'll win a spot for yourself and 7 of your friends in the ESPN LA Fantasy Football League. And you must attend our ESPN LA Draft Party on Friday, August 23rd at Hollywood Park Casino. So if you've got a group of buddies and you want to go hang out at Hollywood Park Casino and be a part of the ESPN LA Fantasy Football League, you're going to want to be caller number 7 when we give you the cue to call. So that should be coming up before too long. So make sure that you're paying attention to that. All right. So I've postponed this long enough. I have been trying to remain as optimistic as possible that the Dodgers still have a really good chance of winning the World Series for as long as possible, with the thought process being Mookie's going to come back. Yamamoto's going to come back. Yeah, Glasnow is an ace. They made a trade for Flaherty. They're going to score enough runs that they will figure out the shortstop problem, that they have lots of options. Max Muncy will probably return at some point, and even if he doesn't, you have viable alternatives at third base, that all of these pieces were going to come together at the right time, and the Dodgers would go into the postseason with a real opportunity to win their first World Series championship in a 162-game season since 1988. I really thought that that was a realistic possibility. I don't think they can anymore. I don't think the Dodgers can win the World Series this year for one simple reason. Their bullpen is terrible. Tell me who comes out of that bullpen. And I'm not saying that one of these guys can't have a good night. They can, right? Can Blake Treinen get through an inning clean? Of course he can. Can Evan Phillips have a good inning? Of course he can. Daniel Hudson, good. Michael Kopech has looked pretty good so far. But here's what you're asking them to do. In conjunction with their starting pitching. In a playoff series, if I told you right now that your starter's going to give you 5 innings every night and give up a run or two, you going to take that? I think you got to, right?
Sure.
Maybe with the exception of Glasnow, you might want a little bit more from him. If Yamamoto comes back, maybe you want a little. But you're not talking about these guys pitching 8 innings. You're just not. It's just not, it doesn't exist in modern baseball much anywhere, and it really doesn't exist on this roster. That's not what they do. So what you're asking for is a bullpen to cover the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. That's 4 innings. That's half the game. A bunch of times in a row.
Against really good teams.
Against really good teams. And their teams have, and specifically the Diamondbacks, the Padres, and the Phillies, have constructed bullpens that once they get past the 6th inning, you're in deep trouble because they can run out multiple guys where if you do score against them, it's pretty surprising. They don't give up a ton of runs. Right? When the Phillies start running Strahm and Estevez and just one guy after the other, we haven't even gotten to the 8th inning and those guys are coming in to pitch these games. Right? The Dodgers right now, when Blake Treinen comes in, and I know he's down at the moment, are you loving it? I don't think so. Joe Kelly has really struggled this season. He does not look like the guy that we've seen previously. He's walking a bunch of guys, and he had a meltdown last night. Alex Vezia has probably been their best guy most consistently. He going to pitch the 9th inning? No. Mm-hmm. Daniel Hudson has been okay more often than not. But again, it's not a lockdown, forget about it. Gratterall's hurt. Honeywell's all over the map. Who pitches the 6th, 7th, and 8th, 9th inning on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, and then on Friday? You're not going to get a wall of lights out innings from game to game to game from this bullpen. And there's no help coming. There isn't like you got guys in the minor leagues. We're post-trade deadline. There is no thing that's coming up next. I don't think – I'd love to be wrong, but this is the first time all season. I looked at that last night, and it's just been stacking and stacking and stacking. There are no good bullpen options, and you're going to have to cover 4 innings almost every single night. It's undoable. What do you want?
I was waiting for the clip to end. That's the one clip. The second clip is – why don't you just do it now?
This is the end. Yeah, look. I have a scenario where that's not even going to be your problem.
You said they're not going to win the World Series.
They're not.
Do it right
They're
now.
No,
Join me. You and I
No.
put our hands together on the mallet. Because you said you don't believe they're going to win the World Series.
I don't.
So what's the point? He should be fired then, right? By Mason's accounts, he feels if he doesn't win the World Series, he should be gone.
They might not make the playoffs, Chris.
What is the difference?
Wait a minute. You're going to say now they're not going to make the playoffs?
No, I'm not gonna, I don't think. I think
this
they
is
will
the
make the playoffs.
greatest heel turn ever.
Let's say
Travis, who defends the Dodgers for everything.
Let's say this. We had this conversation about a week ago. I think they were playing the Padres at the time, and they still had a comfortable lead. And I was telling you, only because I'm watching every wild card team out there, because the Padres are in the thick of it, if it becomes a divisional race, it's more than just a divisional race because every team that's within a couple games of each other and making the walkout. I don't think this is going to happen to the Dodgers.
But it could.
If the Dodgers don't win the division, and by the way, right now it's 3 games between Arizona, San Diego, and the Dodgers. They're 3 games back. Dodgers, I know Padres have a tiebreaker on the Dodgers. But if they don't win the division, it means they're in a wild card race with all these other teams that are fighting for it.
But I thought Kershaw had his best performance the other night when he put 3 men on base in the 5th inning.
He did.
And
that was his, up to this point, that was his...
And that blew it open.
Here's what's
and of course, then the
bonus.
bullpen did what the bullpen does.
So here's why I want to finish the thought. The Dodgers are going to make the playoffs. I give them a 90...
You just said they may not.
Hold on. Let me finish.
No, we are going to go JR style on this. We're going in the jungle.
Stop. Here's what they have left. They've got, I'd say, a 95% chance of making the playoffs. But that's not the 100 that it's been all year long.
Before the year started,
They have a 3-game lead on Arizona. They have a 3-game lead on the Padres. The last wild card team today is the Atlanta Braves. They got a 5-game lead on them. Okay, that's with a month and 2/3 to go.
And they're
okay. Here's what's coming up. They just lost 2 out of 3 to the Phillies. They've got the Pirates. They've got the Brewers. They've got the Cardinals, Mariners, Rays, Orioles, Arizona. All in a row. They don't play a bad team until they play the Angels on September 3rd. They don't play one bad team in that stretch. They don't have a bullpen that can get through an inning or two, much less 4 or 5. If they go significantly cold, I'm not talking the 500 they've been for 2 months. Let's say they play 400 baseball, okay, for the next 3-4 weeks. They could miss the playoffs.
Win the division.
They almost certainly don't win the division if they do that. There's no help coming. This is what they have. I'm talking on the mound, right? In the bullpen. There is no cavalry that shows up. This is what they have.
I will say this. Chris's favorite guy, Dave Roberts, over there. There's a little bit, if you hear some of his quotes from yesterday as well, if you hear, I get the frustration of that game, but to me it feels like he's not talking about one game and one play. He's not. I'm sure there's a ton of pressure that Dave Roberts is feeling right now because for the first time in how long he's in an actual division race. I don't even care about the division race against the Giants. Giants won 106 games, so it's like, all right, well, what kind of division race is that? It's the first time he's feeling heat.
I know you have what's up, fool, whatever it is, coming up. I'm just going to leave this in here for you when you talk to Dave Roberts.
I think What's Up, Fool is on Mason and Ireland,
yeah.
right?
Everything's turned around because the communities are on fire. It's a long. Sedano yesterday went against his own community and joined the COT Wolfpack, which is a splinter cell within the
Wolfpack.
It's hard for us to get Sedano to
Why
tweet
didn't we think of that instead of calling us the All-Stars?
Oh, now there's like
Why didn't
3
we think of the
factions. I mean,
Wolfpack?
I feel like I'm dealing with Russia post the wall coming down. Post Berlin
We're going to have oligarchs inside the COT?
I mean, it's out of control. It's hard to get Sedano to tweet about this radio station, almost as hard as getting Sliwa to tweet. But
I retweet all
he
the time.
added a wolf to his name on Twitter.
Oh, like
that's
that
what
one?
the wolf emoji is. What represents you're part of the wolf pack now. But nevertheless, so I'm a little turned around.
It's pretty good.
I'm just going to leave this here.
I don't
so when
need
you
that.
talk about nice guy Dave and the
Chris,
fact that they're not going to make the World Series,
they're not going to make the World Series. They're not. There's.
Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
on August 8th, is it August 8th? I think so. If
Yes.
they don't make the playoffs, will you join hands? I will get you another
100%.
mallet. We will break this together.
If they don't make the playoffs,
If they don't make the playoffs.
Why do we have to do that? Why, if they don't win a World Series, would you join them in that?
No.
Why?
Because that's not my style. And Dave Roberts has nothing to do with what's happening right now. They don't even have the arms.
They don't make the playoffs. Will you bust it with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Done. Because they're going to make the playoffs, but it's going to be way closer than
accomplished.
anybody thinks.
I don't know if you thought
Way
you were getting
closer.
that today, but that could happen. Imagine what Chris is going to
I'd
be
say
rooting for over the next month
It's
and a
a
half.
1 out of 20 chance. I think that they miss.
1 out of 20. That's good.
I think
1
that
out of 20.
5%, 1 out of 20, I think is what it is because their schedule's brutal.
But the fact that's even a conversation.
I know I'm repeating myself.
Just think about that. That's
no,
even a conversation.
it's insane. It's an insane proposition, and that's why I don't think it's going to happen. But I can't say it enough times. There's no help coming in the bullpen. This is what you have. So you have to hope that Joe Kelly stops walking guys.
Yeah.
You have to hope that Ryan Brazier comes back and becomes almost like a lights-out guy. Good luck with that. That Trinan gets healthy and rediscovers what he had early in the year. He has not looked like the same guy.
Evan Phillips up here.
Phillips is not the same guy. Daniel Hudson has been their best guy. I think their most consistent guy, but he's a guy that I don't think you can go to him every night for the next month and a half to close out games and then expect him to be fresh and ready to go. They don't have that cushion that we've been talking about. These guys are going to have to continue to pitch. Maybe you move River Ryan or Walker Buehler or Bobby Miller or somebody has to step in and eat some of these innings along the way. You're going to have to do it with what you have. And what they have right now scares the you-know-what out of me.
We can do it a little bit later, but part of Dave in that presser yesterday, I think talking about what you were just referring there, and we'll play that clip later, but there was a little bit of we got to use our best talent that helps us win. That's what it's going to come down to. So I think to go off of what you're saying about some of the youngsters, this, that, they might be in that position, and the question is going to be if he actually goes
in that position.
But if he actually does what he says.
Yeah, that's kind of a show me situation. We'll do that coming up at 11. But hey, did you see Foo coming up next? It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Next Gen. You know how I feel about Next Gen. You know how much I love Next Gen. It's not just me. There are thousands of 5-star reviews online to prove that everybody feels like me, and that's why they're the official AC heat and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. And right now, they're hooking you up, right? They're absolutely hooking you up. An $88 drain cleaning. That's right, $88 drain cleaning. And they're going to throw in a free plumbing camera inspection. So if you're sick of dealing with a slow drain, call NextGen, 833-3NEXTGen. That's 833-3NEXGEN. And you can say goodbye to all of your problems, your AC problems, your heating problems, your plumbing problems. And of course, if you're concerned about the air quality in your house and you want to make sure that you've got somebody that maybe has some allergy issues, call NextGen. And you can breathe easy with indoor air quality solutions to fit any budget. Same number, 833-3NEXTGen, 833-3NEXGEN, or of course you can go to nextgenairandplumbing.com to schedule your appointment today.
For 4, dial UNC. That's 844-DIAL-UNC.
Just as every point matters, every detail counts in our meticulously crafted vehicles. Experience luxury at the top of its game. Welcome to Cadillac of Beverly Hills, the #1 Cadillac dealer in the Western region for the 3rd year in a row. Come and check out the incredible selection of new and pre-owned vehicles today at our showroom, 8767 Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills, and at CadillacBeverlyHills.com.
Hey guys, John Ireland here. To build a winning team, you have to have the right people doing what they do best. If you're in a position to hire for your business, listen closely, because we have the ultimate teammate, ZipRecruiter. And you can try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/LA. Hiring the right candidate is hard. ZipRecruiter uses powerful matching technology to quickly find and send you the most qualified people. So it makes finding and hiring your next superstar much easier. This is why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within 1 day. So be like the 3.8 million businesses who have come to ZipRecruiter and sped up their hiring process. Try ZipRecruiter today for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/LA. That's ZipRecruiter.com/LA. One more time, ZipRecruiter.com/LA.
Summer may be slowing down, but the deals at Vivid Seats haven't. Whether it's scoring MLB tickets for a night at the ballpark or locking down the biggest matchups for the upcoming football season, Vivid Seats has you covered. With the only rewards program in the game, plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats has something for every fan. Catch the deals you want for the games you crave, all backed by a 100% buyer guarantee. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Are you ready to build your company's dream team? Just like in sports, finding skilled players is essential for success. With Robert Half's winning combination of specialized recruiting professionals and award-winning AI, we'll help you find the MVPs and key role players who will have you hanging banners in the rafters. Because in business, it's all about having the experienced team on your side. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
And it is Travis and Sliwa, and it's time for the segment we do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that? Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that? I saw it. I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see?
So hey,
Did you happen to see? It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this? Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
What's up, fool?
Hey, what's up? Hold on. Let me
backstory about your growing up.
Yeah, we're talking. Al and I are talking zits over here. If you're interested in what we talk about during the break.
After walk talk, we do zit talk.
Proactive. Remember that? Proactive?
Oh, I took something way worse than that.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
He had stuff that was coming from different
He had
countries.
to put a welder's mask and glass blower gloves on to handle the pills. What's up?
All right, so the Olympics are going on. We're watching water polo right now, and we just finished watching the steeple chase on the other TV here. But yesterday I came across this story. I sent it to you guys. A female athlete proposed to her boyfriend. The 33-year-old Alice Finot, and yes, I read that in Spanish because I'm not going to try it in French.
Finois.
Yeah, Alice Finot from France proposed to her boyfriend after finishing the 3,000-meter steeplechase. Before the tournament, Finot, yes, I read that in Spanish again, set herself a condition that if she ran under 9 minutes, she would propose to her boyfriend. Alice finished fourth, and with that result, under 9 minutes, setting a new European record. So, her boyfriend said yes after she proposed. How do you guys feel about women proposing to their boyfriends?
It's different. I would not do it that way, but I wonder how he felt.
In this scenario, it's not up to you.
It's not up to you. It's up to her.
It's true.
You're not gonna know, but you're not gonna know either, right? It's gonna be like, hey.
Yeah, I wonder how he felt in that situation. Granted, this wasn't just like a private moment where they're sharing. We're talking about it on our show. It's different. It's not. I would not prefer it that way. If that's kind of the question, I wouldn't prefer it that way.
I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the news lately. There are no more rules.
Exactly.
You can do
Nothing matters.
you can do whatever the hell you want whenever. There are people walking on the freeway every day now. I don't know what we're like.
That's a real story.
There are no rules. So if she wants to propose to him, knock yourself out. Why not? If they're in love and maybe for whatever reason he wasn't quite ready to pull the trigger, but this was the impetus for them to go, yeah, cool, let's finally get it done. Great, because there are no more rules anywhere. Do whatever you want any day, all the time, and who gives a damn?
I mean, why does it have to be the guy?
It doesn't.
Yeah, so I don't know.
It
I
doesn't.
feel like if two people are in love and have had this conversation
okay.
before, why does it have to be the guy?
A question for if you ask most women, would most women say it's not that much different than, a guy asks a girl out for a date. Most women, at least it feels like, maybe I'm wrong on this, would like the man to be the one that initiates that. I don't know if that's still the case. I don't know whether most women out there would say, no, this is cool, this is interesting. I would actually prefer doing it. Or do you think most women would say, yeah, I want the more traditional way?
I think it's about, so if we're talking dates, I think that's kind of out the window. Girls can ask guys can ask girls, girls can ask girls, guys can ask guys, etc. Everybody can ask anybody
Let's
else.
talk more about the proposing.
But the proposing, I think that I've had friends who are like, when is he coming? When is it coming? And I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like you should have agency as well in this engagement process. And if you feel so overwhelmed and loved and you guys are both ready to have this next step in your life and you've had this conversation about it, to me, I don't think it really matters who does it.
It doesn't matter.
It feels like more of a tradition thing that is
it's that.
backed into the old the dowry of like asking your dad for your hand in marriage thing.
By the way, we should bring dowries back. I would have liked to be given some free stuff. I'm like 100% in favor of the dowry, but the rest of it I don't really care about.
Well,
are we going to start seeing some videos of at a sporting event, the woman proposes and then the guy just says no, gets up and walks off? That'd be the first. I haven't seen that. Because that's definitely there's a lot of those that happen where the woman's like, not today.
Also, think about the event. It was at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Wish she had done it outside of that? Maybe, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
If she had gone above 9 minutes.
Sub 9 minutes,
right. She would have done it. So what if somebody proposes to you at a game, Emily? Would you want that, or is that out of the question?
I think that, one, it just depends on our relationship, who that person is. If, for example, our very first date was at a game and we are sitting in the same seats that we were at, like, if there's some sort of emotional connection, but if he's just, I couldn't think of anything else, I want to do it at the game, that's really not
So you married
what I
a UCLA fan.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that it has to...
I think he has to propose at a theater.
Ideal situation is, it's something that means something to both you and that other person, and that's when you do it. Like, in the end, that's a story you're going to tell your kids. It's a story you tell the rest of your life, so...
You know what's funny? because what you just said is a very common thing that gets said, and I think it's mostly true, which is, well, this is a story you're going to tell for the rest of your life. I honestly don't think I've ever told anybody the story about how I proposed to Susan unless I was specifically asked, and it's like maybe 2 or 3 times in my whole life. It's not something that gets repeated. Now, if it were at the Olympics, maybe it's a little different, but...
Or right at the beginning, right after it happens, obviously.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Again, it's funny because
I guarantee you my kids have no idea how I did it.
I didn't know how my parents got proposed to, like my dad proposed to my mom until maybe 2 years ago.
I don't know how my dad proposed to my mom. I have no idea.
Plus, now it's documented.
Yeah.
Plus, we talked about this yesterday. It's documented. Now there's videos of this woman doing this. It's on TV. It's on Twitter. It's everywhere now. We don't have videos. I have pictures of when I did it with Brenda, but
I had nothing other than the story.
Yeah.
We rode bikes.
Did you say, like, I'm just
Kinda.
curious, like, if you're not
I had
busy for the
champagne
rest
in
of
my
your
bike
life?
water bottle. I did.
It's awesome.
I'm very romantic, Slee. I don't know if you know that.
we want to
about
hear
me
it
or not.
next. Yeah.
You get escorted?
Yeah.
That's
like in
the
a
story.
Gatorade bottle? Like,
So I'll give you the. So we're living on the west side. We rode our bikes from our apartment down to the beach in Santa Monica. We're going along, and it's the bike ride. I don't know how far that is. Maybe call it 10 miles to get down there, give or take. And I had filled the water bottle with champagne. And she halfway down there, she's like, "Hey, give me that water bottle. I want a drink. I forgot to fill mine up." I'm like, "No." She's like, "What do you mean no?" I'm like, "No, I think I have a cold. I already you don't want this," because I'd already filled it up.
Takes off.
And then I gave it to her. She's like, "Yeah, fine, whatever. Who cares?
nothing matters.
Nothing. It's all Emily. Nothing but blackness and silence and for eternity." Welcome to the Trav and Slee Show. It's the nihilistic show of record.
The nihilistic hour on the Travis and Slee Show. That's going to be 9 o'clock nihilism.
Dave Roberts, I think, is feeling a little nihilistic. We'll get into that coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. Like we were talking about, Al, you and I, we got to go over to Joseph S. Normand's offices yesterday.
Yep.
And it was great to get to meet Joe. Again, we knew Joe, but to get to meet his entire team, his entire staff. And just one story after the next yesterday, Slee, about Joe telling us about his clients and what the insurance companies were trying to do to his clients, the offers that they were trying to make and what he was able to do for them. It just reminded me all over again of why you got to call Joe.
I'm going to give you one example that he shared with us yesterday, and I really think this kind of brings things to home. Of course, nobody wants to be in a position like this, but it happens. If you need somebody to represent you, you're in a legal team. He was telling us about a client was a passenger in a car and was a part of an accident. $300,000 in medical bills, but the insurance was only going to offer $100,000. Joseph S. Normand comes into play here. He's going to fight for you. One of the things he kept emphasizing to us, wants to treat you like family.
Got him $800,000. I mean, that's why you got to pick up the phone and call Joe. 800-747-2000, 800-747-2000, or excuse me, 213-747-2000. I can't read it. I don't have my glasses on.
213-747-2000.
Thank you. Thank you, Slee.
And I think I'll throw out the website here and we'll go from there. Family always comes first. If you need a legal team, 213-747-2000, 213-747-2000, or visit normandlegal.com.
This
There's
year,
nothing like NHL hockey, LA Kings hockey on 710 ESPN. Welcome to the family.
Brand new partnership. We're excited to have the Kings right here, the home of the Los Angeles Kings. And Trav, now I just need an invitation to go catch a game.
You have been giving you one forever. Now you have to
across the street. Now it's across the street.
Go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go.
The Kings are back on 710 ESPN. Believe it or not, I did pregame for the Kings 25 years ago. Damn, I'm old. Luke Robitaille, the rest of the Kings organization couldn't be more excited. Go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go. Nothing like live hockey. Nothing like seeing it in person. Nothing like watching it on TV. Nothing like listening to it on the radio. And we've got them on ESPN LA. Go Kings, go.
We're so excited. The LA Kings have found a new home right here on 710 ESPN. Can't wait to see you on the ice.
I want to congratulate the LA Kings. You are now on the greatest sports radio station in America, 710. And guess what? Now I get to be one of the ice girls at a Kings game. Go Kings, go. Go Kings, go. Go Kings, go.
Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
You know what the best part of going to see Joe yesterday was, Slee?
Yeah.
Joe, this is the sort of guy Joe is. We can have a little drink? Yeah, sure. Let's celebrate.
Yeah,
celebrate the partnership.
Sure.
Johnny Walker Blue, Jorge. Let's go.
Nice.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to
Then
get
he
up.
brought out sandwiches.
I was waiting for you to get up, go use a restroom or something. I was just going to pour a little bit of yours into mine.
You know, I
Don't
wasn't going
trust me
anywhere.
around that stuff.
Once that came out, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna settle in.
Yep.
Let's have a meeting. It was terrific. Enjoyed it a great deal. You were watching the Padres last night, I assume?
Yeah.
Right? So Aroldis Chapman is, what is he, 64 years old?
Yep.
He uncorked a 104.7 mile an hour pitch to strike out Manny Machado. 105 miles an hour. He's 36.
Okay.
What the
okay.
are we doing?
Couple things went through my mind. First off, you're right. I feel like he's been in the league since '94, but he's still throwing that. Fuego. Is this just like, let's look at 20 years ago. 20 years ago in baseball. If somebody threw 100 20 years ago, is that a really big deal?
Yeah, there were maybe 5 guys in the league who could do it.
Okay. Then you kind of reach a point where it's like, did that just clock 102? Hey, did that just clock 103?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the pitcher for the A's? We're talking about it, Mason Miller.
Mason Miller.
Okay,
Who I will
this morning.
call Miller Moss 400 times, and I will call Miller Moss Mason Miller
for the rest
multiple
of your life,
times. You
which
can't
is
have a
fine.
Miller
Yeah, no,
Moss
that's
and a
fine.
Mason Miller. That's not cool.
That's
in the world?
Yes.
Yes.
Not
It's
if
a
they're
rule.
both sports on teams that we talk about. That's just not going to work for me.
So, and we see it right now. The
It's
Olympics.
old Josh Fields situation all over again.
That's right. We see it right now with the Olympics going on. You know, look, this is just whatever the fastest mile was 30 years ago to what it is today. What the hell are we getting at with the fastest pitch throw?
Okay, so you're right. I've been on this for 25, 30 years. Nolan Ryan in the 70s and 80s threw 100 miles an hour, and he was the only one.
In the 70s,
he was
throwing 100?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But he was the guy that threw 100. There was one guy. And then you fast forward, and now all of a sudden, the average fastball, I'll back this up even a little further. When I was playing college baseball, if you ran into somebody that threw 90 miles an hour, they threw hard. They were going to get drafted. They were going to move through. If you threw 95, you were a first rounder, fast track. Oof. Here we go. You're going to be in the big leagues like that. High school pitchers throw 90 miles an hour now. High school kids, and a lot of them. 95 is like your opening bid in a poker game. If you that's the ante. If you can't throw 95, not interested. Now, I don't want to say most, but many major leaguers throw 100. So we went from there was one guy to most bullpens in baseball have multiple guys that throw 96, 97, 98.
Yeah.
Multiple guys. Yeah. Almost every team has a guy that throws 100. The Dodgers, it's Gratterall, right? Kopech. These guys can hit about 100 miles an hour. Then there's Mason Miller. And there's Chapman that are in the 102s, 103s.
You said Chapman's how old?
He's 36.
Kershaw 36?
I think so. He throws 89, 90. Like it's a totally different thing. And the question, because the floor has come way up, the ceiling has bumped up a little. Like there's always going to be the guy that throws the hardest. But my question is, what is the ceiling? Are we going to see
that's
110?
That's what I was watching yesterday. I'm like, so does this just become in 15 years that 105 that Chapman's throwing is now 108? The hell do you do as a batter? Did you see Machado's expression?
What do you want him to do?
First off, it was painted inside corner, strike 3 gets rung up, and Machado just smiled.
So he's broken out of it since then, but Bryce Harper just went through a stretch where I think he was 1 for 31.
Yeah, I think even higher. I think it was like 135.
Okay, so he had the worst stretch of his career, and I was watching him get interviewed the other day, and he says, look, and they were asking him about his slump. He's like, yeah, it sucks to go through it, but I'd keep doing more. He goes, that's just big league pitching nowadays. He goes, you could just see it's like if they do what they're supposed to do, I can't hit. Bryce Harper is saying I can't. There's not much I can do with this.
What is an average player supposed
Bryce
to say?
Harper.
Yeah.
It's Manny Machado that's going like, I mean, come on. There was that moment 3-4 years ago where Dustin May threw like a sinker, I think. I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah.
But he threw a pitch to Dustin May, right-handed pitcher, to Manny Machado, right-handed batter, that Machado swung and missed at, and it nearly hit him in the stomach. That's how much it moved in on him.
Yeah.
He's tracking it like, okay, this is a pitch I can hit. He swings, and then he's
by the time it gets to him, it's
nearly hit him in the stomach.
Wrist. Yeah, stomach.
It was in the stomach, like it had moved 2 feet to the side. Nobody can hit that. Now, not everybody can throw it over the plate. Everybody's arm is exploding every single season.
Sure.
So I do think we're already, I think, at that point where, yeah, I know you can throw 103, but how long are you going to be able to throw 103 before it blows up, and how often can I? So I would expect a little bit of a market correction at some point, but once we've raised the floor to 95, 96, that's not going down.
That's actually the better way to look at it. Not how fast is the fastest guy throwing it. What is everyone now? What is their floor? What is their ante?
The floor, especially.
You're walking in. It's the equivalent of you got certain guys that are running the 40 in the NFL. Okay, well, how fast just are you? Or in the NBA, how high can you jump? Whatever it is, we've become more. And I think, listen,
by the way, baseball's worse for it.
Well, this is let me. I know we're get a little philosophical here. I don't know how much better the game is today in the NBA because we just got a ton of athletes. We got less basketball players. You got more athletes. That's been a conversation in the NBA over the last, let's call it, 15 years or so. In baseball, just because I can throw the ball 100 miles an hour, and I'm not telling you that that's not effective, but there used to be times where guys can pinpoint exactly where it's going to go, and that was more effective. And I don't know if that's a good example of, okay, I got athletes that can throw 100. Do I want more of those, or do I want the guy that actually knows how to play the game of baseball? We've had the conversation, and I remember, just this is one. Getting a base hit isn't valued anymore. It's
the three true outcomes:
how many
home run,
RBIs
strikeout, or walk.
Yeah,
That's
sure,
it.
sure.
The three true outcomes. That whole modern baseball thing it's ruined it. The pitch shape is the terminology, right? Well, we're going to tunnel this pitch. We're going to work on our shapes. Yeah, okay, I get it. I can get this spin rate. I can get the ball to move this much. How long until your arm blows up? How often are you going to get to pitch? It'll fix itself, but baseball is worse for it. Don't get me wrong. Watching Aroldis Chapman throw the ball 105 miles an hour, that's pretty cool. But when there are a bunch of guys that can throw that hard and nobody can, when Bryce Harper is kind of shrugging his shoulders like, this is big league pitching, and what do you want from me? That's telling. That's the best guy there is. He's an MVP multiple times, and he's going, yeah, I don't know, man. That's not good. I mean, I still love it, but it was a lot more fun when there were guys on base. A lot more fun when the ball could be put in play frequently, and it's just not what it was. All right, go back to Dave here for a second. I want to get into the pressure that he's feeling, and it's real, but I think that there's a little bit of a hidden silver lining in that as well. It's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
It within 1 day. Right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/LA. That's ZipRecruiter.com/LA. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Welcome to Mere Audio Video, the home of smart living excellence. With over 40 years of unrivaled expertise, Mere Audio Video is your gateway to a truly connected lifestyle. Partnering with elite brands like Crestron, Control4, Lutron, and introducing home automation from Nice. Mere's team of experts brings innovation to your doorstep. From the Academy Awards to our local sports teams to successful Cal businesses, Mere has curated the experiences that redefine smart living. Call 310-234-4010 or check out MereAudioVideo.com.
NextGen is the official AC heat and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. That's right. NextGen is the absolute best in the biz with thousands of 5-star reviews and happy customers. Right now, get an $88 drain cleaning and they'll add in a free plumbing camera inspection. So, if you're sick of dealing with a slow drain, call 833-3NEXTGen. That's 833-3-NEXGEN and say goodbye to your AC heating and plumbing problems.
NEXGEN. Call 833-3NEXTGen.
This year, Dell Technologies' Back to School event is delivering impressive tech with an inspiring purpose. Learn how Dell is helping Computer Aid, whose work is helping solar community hubs with tech and AI literacy skills to empower remote, displaced, or disconnected communities around the world. Help Dell make a difference and shop AI-ready PCs powered by Snapdragon X Series processors at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool has been put away. Now is the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hardworking tools at hardworking prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Steve Mason and John Ireland.
Mason and Ireland is next after Trav and Sliwa.
Archery?
Archery?
Archery is fantastic.
Okay, good. How many times have you gone practice?
I've archered.
I don't believe you.
I'm a great archer. They call me the archer. My nickname was the archer.
The only arch that you know is
They call me the archer. That was my nickname when I was growing up.
Mason's the OGs of LA Sports Radio. That's Mason and Ireland.
On 710 ESPN. It's Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa.
Day has the same person dropped off food at your house twice in one day. I don't know.
Great question.
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
I love how you couldn't get past Greg without just throwing 16
And we
things.
were texting about it last night, so it's like the third time we've gone around the track on how bad the bullpen is, and Hunter Wendell said, my God. First of all, who chooses to be an umpire? For God's sake. Hey, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to take the job where everybody hates my guts every day. And you know you're really good at it when you're somebody like Angel Hernandez or something like that, where both sides are yelling at you the entire game. And the very worst part is this dude blows the call. And then he's sitting there, chest out, looking into the Dodger dugout like, got it. Look, my dad saw me on TV. Awesome. Like, come on, man.
Terrible.
Just imagine wanting to do that job. Hey, what do you want to do? I want to play center field for the New York Yankees. I get it. I want to pitch for the Cubs. I want to play shortstop for the Dodgers. Awesome. I want to umpire second base. What the hell are we doing? It's insane to me.
Yeah, do it. Just don't screw it up.
No, you should never. They should have to draft prisoners to go do it. Like, nobody should want to do it. It's awful. What a terrible gig. Everybody dislikes you every day? It sounds awful.
Yeah, your best days,
and you like
nobody ever talks about you.
And you like it.
Ever.
It's like Chris Morales.
Yeah, you should get like early release. Like if you I don't know, you rob a liquor store or something. It's like, instead of going to jail for 5 years, you can get out in 3 if you go umpire for a few years. You're going to go out there and just get absolutely destroyed by people. Awful. I want to play this for you. Here's Dave Roberts talking about the fact that the Dodgers are in a race for the first time in a while, and specifically in a race that I don't think anybody thought was coming.
I think part of it is getting guys back. That's one part of it. You know, I think for us, as you know, my first time watching from my office, it's you know, we set a bar here where you got to play good, you know, to play for us. And so we're in a pennant race, and the bar for performance has got to be high for us. We got to get these guys back, and the best guy's going to play. And that's just the way it goes.
All right, so that was the question, right? The big question more than anything else was, is this how the Dodgers are going to do it? You and I were having a conversation about this maybe just a couple days ago. Are you playing the best guys that you have available, the guys that are the hottest by the time you get closest to the postseason, or are you basically just saying, look, I'm going to go with my go-tos. I'm going to go with listen, I've heard a couple things, and I'm not – this is just one person's opinion. The Dodgers do have a standard. I get that, completely understand that. I don't know if you want to just go by, well, I want to play guys because I know what they've done in the past, or do the Dodgers want to go with, I just have to make sure that I'm just playing the players that are the hottest right now. I'm pitching guys that are the most productive right now. I don't care if this is a guy that's been in the league for 10 years or a guy that's been in the league for 2 months. And the way Dave Roberts made it sound there, that yes, you might be in the heart of a divisional race right now, which you weren't expecting. 2 teams that are playing really, really well that are right behind you. I don't think you could approach this any other way than if somebody's producing, they're going to get opportunities. If somebody's not, they're going to have less opportunities.
Managers, coaches, take your pick. They hate variables. They hate them, right? They hate the unknown. That the idea of, hey, give me a C every day, to them is more valuable than one day you're going to give me an A, the next day you're going to give me an F. They're both C averages, right? But give me the guy that's giving me the C every day. I don't think they have the option of doing that. Now, I don't believe him when he says I'm going to play the hot hand, because I've seen him do it too many times. I've seen Kike Hernandez and Chris Taylor and the guys that he trusts. And I'm not saying that they haven't earned his trust over the course of many years. Chris Hernandez, they should call that guy Chris Hernandez, because they're basically a combination of, they're the same guy. So Chris Hernandez has had big moments in the playoffs. Chris Hernandez hit 3 home runs against the Cubs in a playoff series. Chris Hernandez hit a walk-off home run against the Cardinals to win a playoff game. Like, I get it. They've had big. Chris Taylor made that great catch in the outfield. I get it. They've had great moments. Both of those guys, Kike's been a little better lately, but both of those guys have not had good years. Those guys are familiar faces, though, and they're guys that Dave kind of knows what they're going to bring to the table. Do you know what Tommy Edman's going to bring to the table? Do you know what Rosario or Ahmed or any of these guys, and some of these guys won't even be on the team.
Sure.
Do you put a kid like Andy Pajes out there in a playoff series because he might have a good day? Or do you put Kevin Kiermaier out there who you know exactly what you're going to get? Might not be great, but at least you know he's going to play defense. Probably not going to get a hit, but he's going to play defense. At least I know what I have. And he's saying, I'm going to do the hot hand. I'll believe it when I see it, because I've seen it too many times where they go to what they know. Basketball coaches are notorious for this. They play the veteran guys because they know where to be. They know what to do, even if they're not maybe as athletic or as quick or as explosive, but at least they know they're not going to blank it up.
How do you think he's feeling right now?
Tons of pressure. How many different ways did you and I talk about how the Dodgers did the thing in baseball that you're not supposed to be able to do, which they basically guaranteed themselves a playoff berth, which I still think they have. But did anybody think Arizona and the Dodgers and the Padres would be separated by 3 games on August 8th? I don't think so. We added Ohtani and Yamamoto and Glasnow and Teoscar Hernandez, and Walker Buehler's coming back, and Bobby Miller in year 2, and all of these things that even if half of them hit, you're in pretty good shape. Well, here we are. They got a 3-game lead. Of course he's feeling it.
It's funny because when the Dodgers signed Shohei, and Shohei did his defer, only make a couple million a year, and let's go get as many players as possible, it's weird because what this is supposed to be is the start of a new era of Dodgers baseball. It's not Clayton Kershaw anymore. It's not Walker Buehler anymore. It's not Julio anymore. It really is like you could, okay, hey, Glasnow is now our ace. Yamamoto is the dude that we just spent $300+ on. Shohei Ohtani is the face of baseball. It's supposed to be a start of kind of a new era of Dodgers baseball. The problem with that is I'm sure every Dodger fan is also stuck with, yeah, but look what's happened in these previous years, and it's really tough to disconnect the two.
It's impossible.
At the same time, you're looking at the Dodgers and you're saying, okay, let's just say the Dodgers didn't win a World Series this year. Okay, can that happen? Of course it can happen. They don't win a World Series. Will it be considered a failure if they don't win a World Series?
Yes.
Okay. And I think most Dodger fans would agree with that.
I mean, there's a million reasons why, but yeah.
But
yes,
that's I think if we just simplify it, I think people would say, yeah, it's a failure because the Dodgers didn't win a World Series. Can we add more context of how they lost? Sure. Can you say maybe Yamamoto never came back? Whatever all those storylines are. For the Dodgers right now, I feel like there's this desperation to win right now. Of course there is. But when I say this is literally the start of a new era for Dodgers baseball, it is. It's Shohei Ohtani's first year. And how they approach the next few years, if they don't win a World Series this year, now is there even more freaking, hey, we got to, you know what, is there like a little panic of, well, we got to go win a World Series next year? Will it eventually break for them? Probably, because they're good all the time. But it's just kind of fascinating to watch because I don't think you could disconnect the two eras, but this is a completely different era that
it is and it isn't. I mean, it's different players, but the era really hasn't changed. They've been in first place. They've been good the entire time. It's not like they had to, hey, we finally missed the playoffs with the Kershaws of the world, and like we got to reset. And then they went out and said him, and him. It's been, you know, guys coming in and out the whole
era, the start of that.
No, I understand. It's a new era, but it also is the exact same era. It's both. You've got the best player in baseball again after you got the best player in baseball after you got the best player in baseball. Mm-hmm. They've done this a few times. Ohtani's different because he's just different. But this is year 12 of this window where they're going to be in the playoffs every year. It's in year 1 and year 12. It's an entirely different team, so it's transition, but the takeaway's the same. Hasn't been good enough.
You think the strategy has changed this year than in the past?
Clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Maybe that's what I mean, too. That I feel like this year is different than the previous years for strategic purposes, from player perspective, for what the expectations are going to be moving forward.
Even
though I think the
forward thing, the Dodgers are always going to be expected to win the division. They're always going to be expected to win the National League and win the World Series for as long as they have this money and this desire to compete, because they're still very much in it. This team, I think the part that's so weird to me about this is not just that they might not win the World Series, because that's always on the table. I don't think they're good enough to win the World Series for the first time in a long time. Last year, were they good enough? Absolutely. The year before, absolutely. The year before, yeah. The year before, yeah. With this bullpen, they're not good enough. That's why with like the Roberts of it all, which would be terribly ironic, is if they do come up short, which I believe they will, and this is the time they decide to do it, this is the one that I think is the least problematic for him, because nobody's doing anything with that bullpen. You can't. You asked that bullpen to keep you afloat for 2 months, which it did, but there's still 2 months to go, and they're showing the wear and tear of what they did, and we're past the deadline. There aren't more guys to go get. This is what you got. This is them. They kept you in this for the last 2 months. They've done a great job of that, but it's like driving okay, I got a full tank of gas. Here's my season. I just spent it all to get to 2/3 of the way home. Okay. There's no more gas station. What do you want? What do you want him to do? He did what he could do. They've done what they've done. Unless River Ryan or Buehler or Miller or one of those guys turns into a bullpen weapon that we just haven't seen yet, they're going to be really hard pressed to figure out a way to get this team across. The offense will be the offense. Freddie, Mookie, Ohtani, Smith, Teo. They're going to score. They're going to win some games because they can mash. But like Orel said when he was on with us last week, great offense can cover for not very good pitching once in a while. You're going to be facing nothing but good pitching, really good bullpens.
Sure.
Arizona, Philly, and San Diego have really good bullpens. The Dodgers have a really, really mediocre to bad bullpen right now. Those guys have had success before. Hopefully they can rediscover it. I'm incredibly skeptical. This is what you got.
And you're skeptical, I think, more than anything else. You've depended on them so much.
You burn again. This isn't a Dave. Well, you burned him up.
He didn't have a choice.
He didn't have a choice. Yeah. This is what I have. I have to use you. Mm-hmm. I can't. There's nobody left. Who do you want me to pitch? Sure. Unless all of a sudden you're having Chris Taylor eat innings. Like what are you supposed to do? I had to use them. We used them up, and now I can't replace them, fix them, trade them out, bring them a new.
And there's a month and a half plus in the season.
And then the playoffs. You got to get through another, 50 games, give or take?
Probably a little less than that, yeah.
45, 40.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the second that bullpen came in last night, that game spun out of control like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Stone wasn't great last night. Since the All-Star, he's been not only not as good as he was, he's
to be
been
honest
bad.
with you guys have been saying that. I know you've been saying that. Greg's been saying that. That's been a conversation for a little while that, hey, give this thing some time.
I've seen it too many times.
Yeah.
I've seen it too many times. That Kaz Ishii, Alex Wood, Tony Gonsolin, it's the surprise would have been had it not happened.
Sure.
And here we are. And they still got a month and a half to go.
What they say yesterday, I think going into the game, maybe his last 6 starts, something like that. He had a 6 ERA, something along those lines.
I want to say they're hitting like 370 against him. And, yeah. So, okay, he gets bombed out. Now you got to go to the pen. It's the 4th inning. Okay, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Knock yourself out. And, by the way, he did it the day before and the day before and the day before. I mean, I'm not talking literally the last 4 days, but
sure.
You're in the
keep
pen
going to the
too
pen
early,
yeah.
way too often. Factor Cap with producer M's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
We are ranked number 18 in the nation and number 1 in Orange County for orthopedic and spine care by U.S. News & World Report. From the surf to the green, our world-class doctors are there, which is why more Californians choose Hoag Orthopedic Institute for orthopedic and spine care more than any other hospital. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there is no one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Learn more at HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
Rams fans, don't miss out on any of the action and catch every home game with 2024 season tickets. Watch the Rams go head-to-head with the Raiders, Eagles, Bills, 49ers, Cowboys, and more at SoFi Stadium. We can't wait to see you back at the Rams house. To secure your season tickets, visit therams.com/2024. Again, that is therams.com/2024. Secure your season tickets and see you at the Rams house.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
And you know what we do each weekday at this time, around 11:30. It is time for Factor Cap. On the Travis and Sliwa Show, presented by the law offices of Joseph S. Normand. Injury attorneys you can trust, just like family, but not familia.
At Normand Legal, you're not just a number. You're a person. You are part of the family. We care for your well-being. You're the number one priority.
213-747-2000. Let's do it. Factor Cap right now.
Oh, that's cap.
That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
no, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hi, guys.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Hi. Aloha.
It is at a very exciting time right now in all of Olympics.
Oh, that was
And
the
Wow, he got destroyed.
Noah Lyles did not pull off the double.
Did not. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
The
No.
dude from Botswana just sprinted past
but
everybody.
we had 2 Americans in silver and bronze,
Yeah.
so at least that's good.
Don't tell that to Greg. Greg.
We're not doing this.
feeling
No,
about.
no, stop. Like honestly, I'm
not-
honestly going to tell you to stop right now and
I'm
not go
not
further.
actually don't disagree that much with you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's done.
Why? What
That's
happened?
not a thing.
What happened?
It's not a thing. We're moving forward.
All right.
Travis?
Well,
I don't even know what you guys
in
are
the next
talking
break,
about.
We'll talk more about that. You guys talk more about that.
That's not you.
This is great. What are you talking about?
So also water polo right now. They're in about 2 minutes left in the semifinal game. Australia, USA women's water polo is tied at 8-8. So it's going to be very exciting coming down to the line there. So we just watched the beginning of the is it event?
Yes, event.
And you know how they go to each person, they give them individual, this is Noah Lyles, and you'll do their whatever they want to do with the camera. They do, like, peace sign, they can do a little heart, they can do a praying sign. So my statement is, you would practice your salute to camera, and I also want you guys to all do what you think a heart sign is.
Okay.
So Travis, Factor Cap, you would practice your salute to camera.
Fact, I think, look, if I'm in the Olympics in the entire world and I got 3 or 4 seconds where the camera is just on me.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that I have something together to do for that. I don't think I'd have like an elaborate routine, but I'd make sure my little deuces or my prayer hands or whatever were, hey, I want to put them in front of my chest, over my head. I would practice it.
What's your heart sign? Okay.
You guys got it?
Berg?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Cool.
So yeah, it's fact.
I do it right?
I will. That is
We'll
a way
we'll
to do it.
that.
So I have a 12-year-old, so I have different ways now to do it because she has shown me ways that I'm supposed to do the heart signs.
Don't give it away yet. So I want us all to. Anyway, what is your?
Do you want me to do my heart sign that my daughter showed me, or just what I would normally do?
Whatever you normally do.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I do the one that my daughter showed me now. Okay,
then do it.
It's like this.
Ooh, okay.
It's like a
double
double
heart. Double whammy.
Heart, yeah.
Damn.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then you would practice your sign.
Yeah, I'd practice something and do some like crazy because it's fun to do that. This is your 30 seconds of
But
fame.
it's also right before you go.
Right before, so you go and you get all pumped up and then you run. Yeah,
Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Sure.
Let's ride.
I know what Jorge would do. I'm just gonna wait. I just want to see what he says.
You have no idea what I would do.
No, I know it's the C.
No.
I think that's the heart. It's probably not even the heart.
Whoa.
Probably
But
not.
no.
Like a circle or.
I got other fingers away. It shows you how many times
it's like
I've,
you gotta like.
I've
You know what
sent
yours
out
look like?
the heart.
Yours look like an anatomical heart, like where it's all the things are coming out the sides and all the different valves.
Haven't thrown those into many social posts yet. Yeah, I would practice, but it's gonna be something simple. You know, they had a cool video. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. USA basketball team, kind of the same thing. They start with Anthony Edwards, and he's like this. Bam Adebayo's doing something like that. LeBron crowns himself, and it's going just player by player. And then the last person, I think, was Tyrese Halliburton. And somebody posted the tweet, and it's like, man, this thing is so cold until Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton was the only one, I think, that smiled and went like this. Right? He did something like that. And it just didn't go with, like, the theme of it was, you got maybe somebody doing something like that. I think you should practice it. I think it is going to be 3-4 seconds. I think because these are such competitors, too, you're probably not going too out of the way with something crazy because you're focused on getting ready to do whatever race you're going to do.
Jorge?
Yeah, I would go like this. Nobody does this anymore.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh,
that's old
does
school.
this one anymore. Yeah, nobody does that anymore. Yeah,
I thought you were gonna do the softball thing that you normally do.
No, that's a Cristiano Ronaldo thing. But if it was me, like running track, and I would definitely do this.
That's great.
Yeah,
I like that.
Nobody does that. So,
what's your heart sign?
And then my heart, because Maite does, when I used to drop her off in school, she used to go like this to me.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. Like
that's a good one.
So she would go like, "Bye, Daddy." She'll wave from the back, and then she would just go like
that's
this.
Awesome.
She'll put her lunchbox down, and then she'll go like that,
sweet.
and then you walk away.
Like a dog.
Yeah.
So apparently, it's all like it shows what generation you are in, whatever heart sign you do. So there's like
I'm from
there's
1947.
This one is like the millennial one that everyone was.
That's the one I did.
That's the one you did.
So this is like the because that's your kid's age. Is probably around this.
Okay.
And what's millennial / Gen Z. So then this is like the newer Gen Z that people bully them for is doing this, and then the Gen Alpha and / younger Gen Z is what your daughter does.
Yeah, well, she does like that double. She goes like that.
I think I'd get arthritis if I tried to do that.
And then I honestly don't know what this is, Slee. So
She's doing boom, 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 boom.
Diamond.
I have no heart.
It's like chest compressions. Like Slee's heart was in cardiac arrest.
He just has paddles.
All right, and by the way, there's 22 seconds left in Australia, USA. Australia will have the ball. They just kind of time out, so this will be a last-minute play for Australia. They could win it. All right, so this morning, the White Sox decided to fire their manager.
Poor Pedro.
After they had won.
The guy just won.
But anyway, their new interim head coach or interim manager is Grady Sizemore. And I saw this on Front Office Sports. He says, last year, Grady Sizemore took a $15 an hour internship with the Diamondbacks because all the other positions were taken. Today, the former 3-time All-Star was named the interim manager for the Chicago White Sox. So my statement is, This is more of an indictment of the White Sox that they can only get a guy who was last year an intern for $15 an hour than it is an indictment on his ability to be a manager. Greg, fact or cap?
It's fact. That's basically
fact is White Sox.
Fact is White Sox that it's an indictment on the White Sox. Yeah, nobody wants to take that job right now. They have to go again. Now, granted, Grady Sizemore was a very good player for a decent amount of time.
But yeah, he had a moment.
So he had a moment. So he can for the Indians at the time it was the Indians.
Yep.
It's Guardians now. But he had a moment where he was a very good player. So you can get away with it. Like, hey, we're putting in a former player in here. But there's nobody that's going to be a good manager that's taking that job right now. You can maybe try and find someone in the offseason. You going to just somebody who will take it and can win the press conference for right now. That's it.
Al?
Fact, it's all on the White Sox. But I will say this. I think no matter what predicament or situation, obviously Chicago, a complete train wreck the last 2 years. Last year, I think they won 61 games. This year, they're 28 and 89, and whatever that ends up.
28, that's wild.
However, if I'm a manager, if I'm not a manager yet and I'm trying to become a manager, it's not like there's going to be this crazy pressure to win with the Chicago White Sox because there are no expectations. If it doesn't work out, whose fault is it going to be? Not necessarily yours. It's going to be on the White Sox. So I think I'm not as, if I was a manager out there, the White Sox are not my first choice, but if I get an opportunity to manage in the league and just kind of I could learn stuff in a couple of years that then I can apply somewhere else.
Kraft?
It's fact, and it's what's going on in Chicago is why if you are a Rams fan, a Dodger fan, and some other places that you should feel good. Some places run the way they're supposed to, and other places are completely hopeless. The White Sox are completely hopeless. They don't have a plan. They got caught with a terrible roster, which happens occasionally. Yeah. But instead of putting someone in place like, hey, we're going to ride this out, we're going to do this. This is going to be a 100-plus loss season, and we're going to do it. They put a guy in there that they fired him, and I get it. They're going to lose 125, 100 or so games. So I'm not saying the guy deserves to stay, but have somebody there ready to slide in that wasn't an intern 5 seconds ago. It speaks to organizational incompetence. It doesn't speak anything to Grady Sizemore. He just happened to be there. He may or may not be a good manager. I don't know. But
that's not the organization where you're going to find out.
Well, it's a White Sox thing. They're poorly run from the very top, and it is impossible to overcome that. It's like the Angels. They have bad ownership, and that stuff runs downhill. So whether you're Ron Washington or any of the other guys they've had there, you really don't have much of a chance when it stinks at the top.
It's a no-lose situation for Grady Sizemore.
For sure.
He just goes in there and says, if he turns them around, they're like, oh, hey, maybe the guy
can do it.
If they
only lose 80% of their games, he's doing a good job.
The only story I heard from the White Sox this year, other than the losing streaks and everything else, was how bad they did at the trade deadline, too.
Yeah, so they didn't move basically anybody but Kopech.
And it's what they got back, and it's just they're a mess.
But at some point, do they look for a manager like next season? Do they look to replace him? Is that
they'll find somebody.
He'll finish this season, but next season they'll look for a manager.
Probably.
Yeah, he's just interim. They probably won't take the interim handle off. They'll probably go get somebody else.
Skip Schumacher seems likely.
Yeah. I have one more for you guys. And also, by the way, Team USA is in shootout against Australia. It is now tied at 1-1. Same for that happened to the men yesterday, where you got to block it with your face. Like you protected Travis.
It worked.
All right, so Nick Foles announced his retirement, that it will be fully announced and celebrated on the Eagles' opening night game this year. My statement is, Nick Foles is the best backup quarterback ever. Keep in mind, Tom Brady was a backup quarterback at one point in time. But Nick Foles is the greatest backup quarterback ever. Al, fact or cap?
I want to see a list here. Listen, you can make a case for Foles. I'm looking here at Doug Flutie back in the days. Never won a Super Bowl. Yeah, go fact. I don't have a ton here in my mind that I have a list for, but I'll go fact on that. How long was... No, you don't want to call that. I don't want to count like this guy... Drew Brees was a backup to Phillip Rivers for a little bit. That doesn't count. Those don't count. I go fact on that.
Trav?
It's cap because I think he's tied for the best backup quarterback of all time, because what Nick Foles did is exactly what Jeff Hostetler did for the Giants. Jeff Hostetler got put into the season towards the end. They were a really good team, and he punched his ticket. They won the Super Bowl. Like, this wasn't where he was a younger player who hadn't had an opportunity yet. This was a guy that had bounced around a little bit, like Foles. Foles had been a starter in the league, and you were here in a break glass in case of emergency situation, and they both won the Super Bowl in that role. I think they're the only two that, guys have come in and played, but they got their teams through it to get to that point. So I think it's a tie between Hostetler and Foles.
Berg?
Yeah, I do think it's fact, but it wasn't Kurt Warner. He was a backup to Trent Green.
But he played the whole season.
Yeah, he got injured in preseason.
Yeah.
But still, he was the backup.
He was the backup,
so
but at some point, you're no longer the backup, right?
Right. And also, by the way, he's also a bad backup quarterback, just like Tom Brady's a bad backup quarterback. He took over the job and never gave it back. That means you're a bad backup quarterback. Nick Foles was willing to give things back because he wasn't good enough. Like, same with Jeff Hostetler, who was also a Raiders quarterback and was not very good either. But the fact of the matter is, it is fact. He probably is at the top. Maybe Jeff Hostetler's in there, but Foles is one of the best ever.
Jorge?
I'm going to say Cap, and I want to thank Ron for this one. 2 words. Steve Young. Done.
Great call. Yeah, he was Montana's backup
but then he was a starter.
That's why I go back to if I could put those guys in it, then forget about it.
Yeah,
then
he gone back
Foles
to
not.
those Hall of Famer too.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer, and he took over the starting job. So that's the same thing as Brady.
I remember
when Warner,
when Montana was Montana, right? Like he was the man,
unstoppable.
And there were always these rumors, like Steve Young might be the starter this year, and like. Stop. Like, it's Joe Montana. Joe Montana's not getting benched. And then in retrospect, you're like, yeah, maybe there really was a competition. Not that Montana was ever going to lose his job, but Young was a Hall of Famer. It's just sitting there waiting for a chance to go. It's pretty. I don't think anybody's getting ready to anoint Stetson Bennett a Hall of Famer.
No. Remember when Elvis Gerback was the backup? Yeah,
he was the starter for what? 5 minutes?
Yeah, right, exactly. Good backup quarterback. Don't take over the job.
Long. Speaking of quarterbacks, Caleb Williams is the star of the new season of Hard Knocks.
Before we do that, Factor Cap, of course, is presented by Joseph S. Normand. We know you have many choices in the legal team, but family always comes first. Travis and I will tell you firsthand. Call 213-747-2000, the law offices of Joseph S. Normand. Call 213-747-2000 or visit normandlegal.com.
Caleb Williams, all sorts of pressure before throwing a single pass. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. And let me remind you, look, we're still in the middle of summer, right? We still got a ways to go, and you probably got one more trip left in you. So before you take that trip, before you hop on the road for your summer road trip, why not hit in your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change? Because for over 30 years, Valvoline has provided quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for busy people like you, which means you're in, you're out in 15 minutes, knowing that your car is running at its absolute best. You don't have to get out. You don't have to go into the waiting room. You don't have to have that bad coffee. You can relax at Valvoline while the expert technicians make sure that your car is running at its best. Here's what they can do for you. Oil changes, tire rotations, transmission care, wipers, and a whole lot more. Just pull up, drive in, and drive out in about 15 minutes. There are 80 spots in and around Southern California ready to get your ride ready for the road in no time at all. So visit SoCalOilChange.com to find one of those 80 locations and to get some game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Sedano and
Really excited to see the new schools come into play at the Coliseum. Obviously, you're going to have Notre Dame to finish the season. That's always a special game. But seeing Nebraska showing up, Penn State showing up, LSU at the Collie, that's what I'm really looking forward to.
I think both programs, the men's football program and the men's basketball program, are moving in the right direction. And the women's basketball program at USC is going to be ranked top 5 next year. So it's a great time for the USC Trojans to be back on ESPN LA.
I'm really curious to see, what does USC football look like without Caleb Williams? What are the adjustments that Lincoln Riley makes? And what is the defense going to look like in the non-Alex Grinch era?
New conference, new quarterback, just really fired up on the football side. New head coach for basketball, so almost like a really new team, which is going to be awesome. And then returning to prominence for USC women's basketball, to be back to where USC women's basketball is. I'm super excited to see Juju in her second year, but just the rest of the players continue to grow under Coach Godley.
This beautiful thing has been up since the first time SC was here. But guess what? USC is back! And once again, this means something for us. Pumped for this season. USC Athletics back on 710 ESPN.
SoFiStadium.com today.
John Ireland here to tell you about my friends at Mirror Audio Video in Westwood. Listen, if you're thinking about upgrading your home or office with the best brands in the world, like Crestron, Nice, Lutron, or Control 4, it's got to be Mirror and no one else. Why? Because for more than 40 years, the biggest names in Hollywood, sports, and business have all trusted Mirror, and so should you. Want to learn more? Call 310-234-4010 or check them out at mirroraudiovideo.com today.
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon.
Come on!
From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns to turnovers and overturned plays.
After review, the pass was incomplete.
Nice! Let's go!
This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
If you're looking to get a new car, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive. Sure, you love your old car, but you know it's not normal to give instructions on how to open the window. It should be self-explanatory, but it's not. And notice how when you're in other people's cars, you can feel cushion in the seats? That's pretty nice, right? No, it's just normal. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and put the savings toward a new car. It's time. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Steve Mason and John Ireland.
Mason and Ireland today at 1 after Trav and Slee.
Archery?
You don't like archery?
No, archery is fantastic.
Okay, good. How many times have you gone practice archery?
I've archered.
I don't believe you.
I'm a great archer. They call me. They named me the archer. My nickname was the archer.
The only archer that you know is
they
Archie.
They call me the archer. That was my nickname when I was growing up. I don't think Mason's
the OGs of LA Sports Radio. That's Mason and Ireland.
On 710 ESPN. This is the Mid-Morning Spectacular live from LA Live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
Just more on things that nothing matters. In a heartbreaking fashion, Team USA women's water polo loses to Australia, which was the matchup of the men yesterday. It was Australia-USA, and the semifinal match goes to shootout, and then USA is victorious on the men's side. The USA is not victorious on the women's side. It went to 5-5 through 5 shootouts on both sides. 5 shots, it was
then they
even.
Flip a coin.
And then after that, it's sudden death. So you go match for match. So if you miss and the next person makes it, the game's over. So through 5, Ashley Johnson, our goalie, who's absolutely fantastic, maybe the best goalie we've ever had on our women's water polo team. She plays for Princeton. She's insanely good, and maybe the best goalie in water polo and women in general. She had her hand on basically every single shot, which really sucks.
Yeah.
They just had it too hard and it went through her hand. So 5 shots through, and then the Australian shoots the 6th, makes it. USA shoots and misses off the crossbar. It sucks.
Was that? I don't know what round that was. What was
a semifinal,
that?
So now they will compete for the bronze medal match. They will not compete for gold.
Got it.
I don't have in front of me who they're going to face. They might not have it yet, who they're going to face in that round.
That's got to be such a trip because obviously you want to win the gold medal. But once you're into the gold medal game, you're getting a medal. You're either getting a gold medal or a silver medal, right?
Sure.
That bronze medal game, you're either coming home with something, which is awesome,
or nothing.
That oddly,
that's a good point.
Not the gold medal, obviously the most prestigious one,
but your story goes from I medaled 4th place.
I medaled
and did not get a medal. Or do you see that right there? I got a medal.
I got
at
a
the
medal.
Olympics.
I medaled. Yeah. How'd you do? Medaled. Awesome. How'd you do? 4th place. Who cares?
It's actually the only. It's one of the few events in anything. Right. First off, we actually play for a 3rd place in the Olympics to get a medal.
Yeah.
But it's one of the only ones where, like that game, USA basketball is coming up here. They're going to face Serbia.
Mm-hmm.
France is going to be in the gold medal match. Germany now is in they're going to play for a bronze.
Yeah.
It's one of the only we didn't win the whole thing, but we're still all in on this next one.
They used to do that in the Final Four. where the two teams that won would advance to the championship game, and the two teams that lost would play the consolation game. And there's a reason they don't do it anymore. It's because, like, can I just go home? Yeah, this is lame.
I mean, the World
TV
Cup has
networks
it.
are-
They have
Yeah.
a consolation.
Yeah, the third
They
place
have
game.
it, but it's not a thing.
Yeah.
But if it's something to have on Saturday as opposed to then the final on
The
Sunday.
Euro Cup, right?
Yep.
They have a third place game.
Yep.
The Copa do the same thing.
Yeah,
I think they all have it, but I don't think anybody cares.
Well, that's what I mean. I get why the tournaments have it, because you get to sell another round of tickets, you get to sell another round of beers and hot dogs and whatever else is going on in those places. But if you're one of the athletes, unless they're like fourth in the Olympics is nothing, third in the Olympics is prestigious. I'm showing up for that one.
Sure.
I'm not showing up for the rest. Noah Lyles was just being wheeled off the track in like a chair, like not a wheelchair, but in like an office chair, like the one I'm sitting in. And he looked fine, but you could just tell he's completely spent. And he got the bronze, M, is that right?
Yeah, I saw they got bronze.
Yeah, so Noah Lyles wins bronze in the 200. Obviously won the gold medal in the 100 meters, but no one's been able to pull off the double since Bolt a handful of Olympics ago. That's got to be pretty hard. To run that many, you got to run a heat, you got to run a semi, and then you got to run the final. So that's 6 races in just a handful of days. That's asking a lot. That's asking a lot. Caleb Williams is obviously going to be the star of Hard Knocks. Number 1 pick in the draft. Bears are on Hard Knocks this year. And Saban was on the opening episode and was telling you that he and Eberflus have a relationship somehow, some way.
He was Nick Saban was his coach at Toledo.
There you go. And it's funny to hear. And again, so much of this stuff we've seen it so many times before in Hard Knocks that it doesn't really land in the way that it did for the first 20 seasons that we saw it. But Nick Saban saying that the expectations on Caleb Williams and the expectations on any rookie quarterback are almost impossible to overcome, I thought was really interesting because, well, maybe Nick Saban isn't the quarterback whisperer that maybe somebody like Sean McVay might be. Nick Saban knows football players. Like, he knows what works and what doesn't work and situations that are set up for success and which ones aren't. And that he's saying, hey, really temper your expectations on any rookie quarterback, I thought was pretty meaningful.
I think it's, no matter what anybody says, you're always labeled with that's the number 1 pick. You're always labeled, especially Caleb Williams too. Obviously, it's the quarterback position. It's different if a defensive lineman gets selected number 1.
You're right.
O-lineman gets selected number 1. To be honest with you, we don't even pay really any attention at all. It's the most prized possessions that we're always looking at, most prized positions that we're always looking at. He can set that up for Caleb Williams, but I guarantee you before the season starts, and once the season starts, there's going to be, wow, look what Caleb Williams did, but there's probably going to be louder noise when he's not doing something, or if he's not performing well, if he has a game where he throws a couple picks and he has a fumble. As much as you want to taper those expectations, I really think that's difficult to do for that position specifically.
Here's why I think his expectations are a little bit different than your. For instance, Bryce Young last year goes to a Carolina team that just really stinks. There was virtually no road for him to have success. C.J. Stroud goes to a Houston team that we thought was going to stink, didn't stink, right? He was really good. They had some other players that kind of elevated their games. They had another very high draft pick on the other side of the ball that also came in, and Anderson, that was terrific. Williams is set up to succeed as best as you could possibly ask as a number 1 pick because he went to a team that isn't bad. The Bears are not a bad team last year. The Bears were not a good team, but they weren't bad. The Bears would not have had the top pick had they been on their own. They got it through Carolina. DJ Moore's on that team. Keenan Allen's on that team. They drafted Rome Odunze to be a star wide receiver, another top 10 pick that they put with Caleb Williams. If there is a road to success, it's that. A pretty good team, and you got 3 weapons as a quarterback. If he struggles, I think it means a little more than if a player that, like, who am I playing? The quarterback from Alabama that's at Carolina. I'm blanking. Bryce Young, who I said 30 seconds ago. I'm getting that old. What do you want him to do? That's never going to work. That team, like we're talking about, it's a dysfunctional organization. The Bears have put him in a position to succeed, and if he doesn't, I think the noise will be even louder than usual.
Well, I was just going to say, wouldn't that put then more expectations
For sure.
even on him?
For sure.
And it's not like the Chicago Bears are the marquee franchise in the NFL. Best record they've had over the last 6 years is 8-8.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best record. So as best as they've been is a 500 squad. They got expectations. They got the number one pick in the draft. They have a quarterback that a lot of people are confident about. I get the, hey, taper it. That ain't going to be tapered there.
And you better hope that another quarterback in this draft is not better than Caleb
Yep.
Williams, because they have been carrying that they traded up to get Mitch Trubisky instead of Patrick Mahomes since that happened.
Okay, so you got kind of a double whammy going on here too, as far as if you're a superstitious person, if you believe in I don't know if it's curses, but just pedigree, so to speak. USC quarterbacks, great as USC quarterbacks. USC quarterbacks as pros, less so. A lot less so. Carson Palmer, I think, is the one you look at and go, yeah, Carson Palmer had a really good NFL career. The rest of them, I don't know. Double whammy is the Bears never picked the right quarterback. Right? Like Emily just said, they took Trubisky ahead of Mahomes. I think they're the only team in the league that's never developed a 4,000-yard wide quarterback. Okay, so you got the SC factor, you got the Bears factor,
Sure.
you got the expectations factor. That's a lot of things to overcome. You guys subscribe to either of those, the SC or the Bears thing? Because the Bears, if it was the same coach, same developmental staff, then it's their fault. But they've had a million coaches, a million different developmental people go through there. Is that anything?
Maybe a little bit, but I hate when those get tagged on players that have, like Caleb Williams is.
He had nothing to do with that.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's how do I tag that on a player that has literally no control about any of that stuff?
Because it's happened to everybody who's come before him.
I get it. No, listen, and there is an angle there, but I don't really subscribe to it.
All right, got our draft coming up in the 12 o'clock hour. Next, Em, do we have an order? Am I at first? No? I don't want to do it then. Snake Drafts coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Just as every point matters,
710 ESPN and the all-new ESPN LA app. This fall, the new home of the USC Trojans.
The new home of the USC Trojans.
The Trojans are back.
The USC Trojans play on LA's mega sports station.
That's right. USC football, USC men's basketball, and USC women's basketball are on 710 ESPN coming this fall.
710 ESPN, the new home of the USC Trojans.
Draft. It's definitely a snake draft, and we, in honor of yesterday, I don't know how do we even get on it, but we were talking about sitcoms.
Theme songs.
No, we weren't even talking about theme songs.
We weren't?
No, we were talking about.
We were talking about Cheers.
Well, you were
and
disappointed in your show that didn't, the episode you watched about that
House of the Dragon.
Yeah, and you didn't like it. And
then we talked about
theme songs.
I talked about Cheers and
Yeah.
how there was some stuff that's like, yeah, I can't do that. And then we talked about the theme songs.
Yeah, but that's not how we got on it.
Al
Anyway,
was
it
talking
doesn't
about
really
Fresh Prince and how he listened to it on the
Was
radio.
it here? I think it's something to do with that. I think it had something to do with something about in the car listening to something. I don't know.
But that came later. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Someone will point it out to us
Who
online.
cares?
But who cares? But we're going to do a draft of the 80s and 90s sitcoms, okay? So a wide net can be cast here. And again, that show has to have started in either the 80s or the 90s. It can continue into the 2000s, but it has to start in the 80s or 90s. So the order is Jorge, Alan, Travis, Emily, 3 picked each. 12 total, because all the fit on the graphic, right, Parker?
Si.
Thank you. All right, Jorge, you're first.
Okay, so I told you guys I saw most of these, if not a lot of these, in Espanol. So in Espanol, we had something called El Príncipe del Rap, and that's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So,
wow, right before Alan could pick.
This is his entire lane. I'm just taking the thing before the guy.
Well, that's what I wanted to pick. So
Oh,
it's
really?
available. It's available. So I took it.
I've never heard you talk about Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I even hear Alan talk about it all the time.
You want me to talk about you in Spanish? I remember some of the episodes in Spanish.
Bro, I'm kind of shocked right now.
Are you? You should have seen that one coming.
Exactly.
No, I didn't see it. I thought he was going to genuinely have like an 80s or 90s sitcom that he really liked.
He took Taylor Swift. He
Yep.
took Fernando.
Yep.
He was taking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
And The Rock.
And,
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, come on, dude.
Before this would have happened, I think we should have done some pre-draft trading. So it's like, hey, I'll be the first pick in the draft. If the next 3 drafts, I'll
All
pick
right.
last.
That's fine.
F them picks, right, Jorge?
That's fine.
All right, Al, you're next.
Okay, I'll go with my number 1 pick. You know, it's kind of funny. At the time of when this show was doing its thing, I wasn't watching it. Later on in life is when I started watching it, and then I got addicted to it. Seinfeld. Seinfeld's going to be my number 1 pick. Again, when it was happening in the basically early 90s to whatever, late 90s, I was not watching it. Once I got into like college is when I started watching Seinfeld. Seinfeld's my number 1.
It might be the greatest sitcom of all time. It's certainly on the short list. And to your point, it's still on TV every day.
All the time.
It's still, like if you go to the Netflix top 10, it's in that. It's just, it is ubiquitous.
It's not connected to it. You can watch it at any time. And
It hasn't been on TV for 25 years. It hasn't been making, 25 years ago the show went off the air. It's the right pick.
And it's not like super heavy plot driven. So like again, you can drop in at any episode, like you said, at any point in time. You don't have to be like, oh, this is this 4th season. I have to watch all the other ones before this kind of thing. All
Jorge
right.
already won.
Travis, what's yours?
It started in the 80s, and it's still on.
I knew you were going to pick this one.
Yeah, The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why'd you pick that one?
I mean,
You stole that from him.
I don't like it. I don't watch The Simpsons.
It's it's not unlike Seinfeld. It's not particularly plot driven. All the episodes are kind of standalone. They've built this universe that has expanded over nearly 40 years. Iconic characters, not 1 or 2 or 3, but the entire family and some of the ancillary characters. It's my favorite sitcom of all time. Simpsons, easy pick for me.
Okay. That is not where I mean, I thought you would go there, but it's okay. I'm going to take something else you like. I'm going to take Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers is going to be mine. And
Those are the 3 best.
Yes.
His, mine, and yours are. You can like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I love that.
Nobody's arguing that it's the greatest sitcom of all time.
I think
I'm
it
not
is.
either.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like it's out there to pick. I chose it. It was on the board. It's available.
And while
Whatever.
we
Who
all
cares?
well, we all may not love this show. When I think of the 90s, I think of this show. It ended in the early 2000s, but when I think of the 90s, this is the show that I think about. It's one of the most watched shows of all time. It launched the careers of all these actors that we saw in various forms afterwards, but you can never forget who they are. I'm
Murder,
going
She Wrote.
Friends.
Oh.
I'm going to go with Friends. I just think, like, again, it's one of those intro sitcoms that if you don't know what sitcoms are, you're like, oh, this is kind of funny. And then you can level up after that. I did, at one point in time in my life, binge all 10 seasons over winter break in high school.
Is there only 10 seasons of that show?
Yeah, only 10 seasons.
I would have gotten that way wrong.
Yeah,
I would have
10
thought there were 12 or 15.
It was 94 to 04, I believe.
Okay.
And so I binged all 10 seasons when I was in winter break in high school. And so Friends is my second choice. Travis?
All right, Slee, you're going to really hate this. Sorry.
It's the best. It's the best one left.
See, you guys
It's the best one left.
Don't apologize. Like, why
I'm
you
not
guys do
apologizing. I'm actually enjoying it. I'll take Married with Children.
It's the best one left.
It's funny, and when you started talking about launching careers, like Christina Applegate has had a very successful career.
Yep.
Obviously, Ed O'Neill has had a very successful career. And it kind of was genre busting at the time. Like now it seems pretty tame, but for the time, for the 90s when it came out, like people were doing that thing where it's so vulgar and what happened to the American family and look at these terrible people. Like it was this.
Did they not watch Archie Bunker?
Thank you. But it was that generations of the world is going to hell in a handbasket. It's pretty funny too. That's the other part. It was pretty funny. So Married with Children.
All right, Al, yours?
There's no point in doing any more picks. This one I did watch all the time, and it was kind of the heart of my era too, growing up. Saved by the Bell, kind of a easy one for a lot of those in our era.
You know what's weird about that one?
Can I tell you? I was going to say there's certain shows that you're like, hey, you can just jump right back into. I don't think I've watched Saved by the Bell since I was 13.
It's very of its time.
Yep.
It's very late 80s, early 90s. The weird, and I could be wrong here, but I don't think I am. I think that show, like its first run was on Saturday mornings. It was like in a weird spot. It wasn't like on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock.
It was also almost more like educational of like.
There's a message,
yeah,
a heavy message.
at every episode as opposed to like just pure sitcom. Like, here's a situation, the funny way to get out of it.
Yeah, and it was Saturday morning TV. Like instead of cartoons, it was Saved by the Bell.
Or no, that's right. That's
Or he's got two.
Salvados por la Campana. That's the way I used to watch it. Salvados por la Campana. Anyways, I'm gonna go with something called Mejorando el Hogar. It was Home Improvement.
Okay,
as my second one. He's like, or whatever he does, and just because she did something for me at the time. Topanga, Boy Meets World.
Slee got shut out on all three.
I wasn't going to pick that one. I wasn't, but when you said Topanga, I'm like, oh, I was with you.
Yeah, she's something about her.
It's not complicated what it was.
Not, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It wasn't. She's really, really good looking.
He's like, I wonder why I'm so into Topanga.
Yeah, I'm weird.
Okay, my final pick, which I don't think it's going to be on a lot of people's lists, but I used to watch this all the time. Family Matters. I used to watch Family Matters religiously.
Iconic character.
Religiously, and if you remember Carl, Eddie, like the whole...
I truly do not. I only remember Urkel and that the dad was the cop from Die Hard. That's the only thing I know. Yeah.
Family Matters with my number 3 pick.
And that Urkel wasn't supposed to be a mainstay character. That was supposed to be like a one-offer that people loved him. It's kind of like Kimmy Gibbler in Full House was supposed to be like a one-offer, turns into a much more large character. All right, Trav, your last pick.
I'm going to go with something. Oh, I can't pick it because we're doing. Oh, gosh, I got to recalibrate. I was going to take something that
80s and 90s.
Is ineligible. Okay, I got one. I don't know. Like, I didn't grow up like this because my dad was not distant and aloof. My dad was very present and warm. But the era was very of my era, the Wonder Years. And you know, my mom was home. My dad would work. I had a brother, and I lived in suburbia. And, you know, junior high was fraught with goofy, emotional things that felt like the most important things in the world that were not. So I'm going to do the Wonder Years. Great soundtrack, too, by the way. Like the music, and that's why it didn't live on a streamer forever, because they couldn't get the rights to the music, because it was all, it was incredibly expensive to get the rights to restream it. So it didn't go, you had to buy like Time Life DVDs were the only place you could get it for years.
Interesting. All right, so... Okay.
I don't know which one hurt more, Married with Children or Fresh Prince. I thought those were locked. I just felt like I was even going to go strategic and just grab.
Once you
I was going to grab
behind
Seinfeld,
Jorge,
and I'm like, that's it.
The second you were behind Jorge,
I get it from Jorge, but you,
it's the right pick.
It's the right pick. I know.
So I'm kind of caught between a couple of like, what is like the most iconic of the ones that I have left? Of like, this is when I think of sitcoms, I think of this thing.
Your list is winning based on this. Like Cheers and Friends.
Yeah,
probably a list that's.
And a lot of these, like, I don't remember
Where
honestly
do you win?
The plot of a lot of these episodes. I'm just like, I remember watching this a lot. So I'm gonna go with Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I watched it all the time when I was a kid, and it's Melissa Joan Hart.
That's what I thought.
And her two aunts that were like overseeing her, and she's trying to hide that she's a witch. She becomes a witch later on. Sabrina the Teenage Witch is my last pick, 'cause that's more of a heart pick. I know it's not the most popular one amongst every one of our listeners, but Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
So here's a cool thing about Fresh Prince. Will Smith came onto a talk show in Mexico at the time, and they introduced him to the guy who dubbed his voice in Spanish.
Oh,
wow. Yeah, so they meet and they do a segment together. It's like, let's do something real quick. Will, just move your lips, and he's gonna pretend he's gonna say something that he's gonna dub you basically.
Yeah.
So they do this thing live. It was pretty awesome. They met, and that's why I remember that show.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
We don't have Full House, so that's not one.
Nobody took that.
Brenda texted me Full House, but I'm like, hey, you watch that, not me.
Full House was fine. It was on TV for a long time, very successful. Like all
most of these are fine. They're not.
Full House was so saccharine-y sweet.
Yeah.
Like it was like there's no edge, and the edge that would try to be created occasionally was so fake.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, didn't you listen to me yesterday? Michelle had some concussion falling off the horse. They don't know if she's going to make it, which she will.
Horse?
She talks to her twin. Another one we didn't have is the nanny. Sister.
Oh, yeah,
Sisters,
Tia and
sisters.
Tia and Tamara.
Yeah. George Lopez.
Yeah, George Lopez is legit hilarious.
That 70s show, Will and Grace.
Oh, that 70s show is good. I like that 70s
Will and
show.
Grace.
Yeah.
Melissa Joan Hart,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it was early Twitter, so 2008, 09, something like that. And like getting your follower count up or who, like the air quote famous people were following you was like, currency at the time. And I'm home one night and all of a sudden pops up, Melissa Joan Hart is following you on Twitter. And I'm like, okay, there's no way it's her. It was her. And I was like so stoked that this actress, very famous, very pretty actress, like, yes. She followed literally everybody on Twitter. Like I don't think there was anybody that she wasn't following. And I was so excited.
It wasn't one of those, sometimes you see somebody that's got like 5 million followers, but they're following 4 people. You were not. It was not one of those situations.
There was a time, early Twitter, where Woj would follow me, unfollow me, follow me,
what
unfollow
would you do, Trav?
No, but that's how. So me and my buddy Sean Pendergast, who does a talk show in Houston, he did it to both of us, and it was literally think like he would search and then dip, and we were always like, "Is he on you this week?" And we're like, "Yeah, I got him." Like, yeah, he was on and off all the time.
What he wants to curate his feed to be like, maybe, or like maybe he's just like, "Oh, you said something stupid." I don't
Yeah,
that's
weird. Maybe, but it was, and that now it's been off for a long time.
Momo just weighed in. She asked why you didn't draft Beverly Hills 90210.
Because it's not a sitcom.
That's what I thought too. It's more of a drama.
Yeah, it's a soap opera.
Yeah, soapy. It's more soapy, but I guess
if we're drafting our favorite shows of that era, it would have been my first pick.
Yeah,
but it's by any definition, it's not a sitcom.
Because I feel like Saved by the Bell is more of a comedy, but it is teetering on that line of.
But if you got a Screech on your cast, it's a comedy.
Yeah,
like Screech is not showing up in a soap opera.
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
Yeah,
Malcolm in the Middle.
Is that a 90s?
Malcolm en el medio.
I think 90s.
Exacto.
I think 90s.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Look, Momo, I don't know when you're scheduled to come in next, but when you are, if you want to spend
it was 2000
entire crosstalk.
Yeah,
I would have done Curb Your Enthusiasm, but also it was literally
just missed.
It was January 9th, 2000. It was Malcolm in the Middle, so you would have barely not been eligible.
Somebody tell me, look at the master schedule. Tell me when Ramona's coming in, and we can break down 90210.
I think they said yesterday on Monday.
On Monday? Okay.
I think so.
I'm here on Monday. Momo, you and me, 90210. We should do a little trivia.
We should.
We should do a little trivia.
I do also think that we should do sitcom themes soon, too, because there are themes that I like better than the actual sitcom.
Sure.
For something.
Sure. In. Sold. Done. Dodgers have a fatal flaw that they cannot fix. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, about an hour away here from Los Angeles. Get on that 15 freeway, exit right in the heart of Temecula, and you're going to be at Pechanga Resort Casino, Southern California's premier resort casino experience. So much to talk about here. The dining, the spa, the golf course, journey. How about this? I was there about a month ago or so. One of the cool things they have there, their entire pool complex is called The Cove. It's a 4.5-acre pool complex. 4 pools, 3 hot tubs, 2 twisty water slides at the family pool. So certainly great for families. Oh, by the way, 27 cabanas you can rent out, 6 day beds, the swim-up bar with 18 underwater seats. I think the point that I'm trying to make here is if you're trying to stay in Southern California, but you want a real fantastic experience at a resort, it's at Pechanga Resort Casino. Visit Pechanga.com. Call 888-PECHANGA to book a reservation or just to get more information. Also follow them on Instagram at Pechanga Casino for up-to-the-minute news and info.
Coming up today at 4 p.m.
It's the LA Afternoon Takeover with Sedano and Cap.
So our promotions team said, hey, Cooper, here's our guys from 710. Here's what they're wearing at our Mandy Awards. Check out their fit and tell us what you think. Play the audio, DeAndre, of what Cooper Kupp said a year ago.
And this afternoon show, Sedano and Cap. Scott Kaplan.
The confidence is up there. That goes without saying. I've always thought that, where you wear Nikes with a suit, it can be kind of a tacky look.
But if you don't wear an undershirt and you wear those glasses, then maybe it pulls it together. Just for the fact that he knows what he's doing, I'm going to give him a 6.
Would you wear that yourself?
No, never, ever, ever be seen in that.
Here's the picture that you were looking at, Cooper. Now, I thought maybe you might like an autograph, young fella.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like that?
I would.
Okay, last year Aaron Donald got an autograph from me. And this year I'm going to write an autograph to you. Anything special you need me to say or anything like that?
Hurry up.
You know?
Sedano and Cap, every weekday after Mason and Ireland.
On 710 ESPN.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1225. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225 or biglou.com.
Steve Mason and John Ireland.
Mason and Ireland today at 1 after Trav and Slee.
Archery?
You don't like archery?
Archery is fantastic. Okay, good. How many times have you gone practice archery?
I've archered.
I don't believe you.
I'm a great archer. They call me. They nicknamed me the archer. My nickname was the archer.
The only arch that you know is
They
Archie.
call me the archer. That was my nickname when I was growing up.
The OGs of LA Sports Radio. That's Mason and Ireland.
On 710 ESPN. This is the Mid-Morning Spectacular live from LA Live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
Theme song, of course, to Full House.
Yeah, you got hooked on that. That's a bad deal.
It's not good.
That's what
I look at the two of you very differently.
Well, he did it to do it.
Okay,
I made the right
wait.
pick.
I will. Okay, of all the sitcoms that you get any pick that you want,
Sister.
correct here. If I'm correct here, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air would have been your number one pick either way.
I mean, that's what I chose, right? I mean,
yeah, but you watched it.
So he's not answering for a reason.
Yeah. No, I did. I showed you a clip during the break. I showed you a clip of when Will Smith.
I'm a little less angry at him. You on the other hand.
No, you
Ed
have
O'Neill,
it
4
backwards.
touchdowns at Polk High School.
You have it backwards. I took the right show because it was the best pick on the board. That was not the best pick on the board for anybody other than you. And he did it to me. He's done it to me twice, I think. He's done it to Emily at least once.
Taylor Swift and Hook.
And Hook. He's done it to Emily twice, too.
No, the Taylor Swift is not true. He loves Taylor Swift.
He bums Taylor Swift all day, every day.
In Espanol. You know, I have the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
Just the same version for that as well.
And Married with Children also has one of the classic sitcom/TV show things in it, which is when Ted McGinley showed up, the show was over. Like if once Ted McGinley was in your cast, it's like, okay, we're done with this.
Well, it's the Jump the Shark.
Right. He was Happy Days, Love Boat, Married with Children, and I think there's one or two others.
You know, I didn't understand.
The McGinley rule was in full effect at Married with Children.
Call out my family here real quick. See? That's why it's number one. That's why it's number one.
I'm going to bump it on the way out of here.
So here I am growing up in a family where it's like, listen, we grew up very Catholic, right? Very old school traditions. We used to go to church every Sunday morning at St. Peter's in El Cajon, Chaldean Catholic Church. And that's kind of how our mom raised us. And then Sunday night, we just have Married with Children on at 7 o'clock.
It's not like the devil was going to come through your TV.
Listen to me. The way that household was ran, watching Married with Children at age 10, yeah, that didn't really jive.
I take your word for it. I'll take you grew up in the house, not me. I've never understood I'm going to raise my kids all day, every day for their entire lives, but they get 1.5 hours of TV that everything's undone. No, it's not.
No. Usually, in that, if they played the same theme, yeah, it is Full House, and we were watching Full House,
Sure.
and it was Saved by the Bell. We were watching Saved by the Bell, and then next thing I look at, I take a look, and next thing I notice, I'm like, Dad, what's going on here?
I picture very, rule following, mom and dad.
I was a rule follower.
I know, so was I.
Mm-hmm.
Respectful of your parents and your sisters and all these things, and you're just absolutely walking the line. And then you watch one episode of Married with Children, and you're smoking cigarettes and drinking whiskey in the backyard. I don't think that's how that happens. I'm
like, Mom,
that's not how it works.
Mom, based on everything you told me, drop me off at church. I got to go pray for the next few minutes here. Okay. Of course, we got our Islands medal count, and we're breaking down everything going on right now in the Olympics. Okay, we got the stage coming in.
Team USA is going for the gold in Paris. USA! It's time for a Summer Games medal count update. Thanks to our friends at Islands Restaurants. Islands winning the gold medal for the coldest beer in town. And they're off. With your latest medal count, here is Alan Sliwa.
I got a little excited there. I got to wait for the stager here. Okay, here's where we are. Latest on the medal count, all right? China with the gold, they got 28 now. USA, figure this out. By the way, watching USA-Serbia here, we need some more gold medals here. China
We did just add one more.
China in the lead.
Are we losing?
We're
down 8
right
points.
Now. Down right now. By the way, this is when it becomes interesting. It's all the time that's interesting.
Fourth quarter, down 8. You got my attention.
28 golds for China. United States has 27. Total medal count, by the way, USA with 97. China second there with 72, so kind of lapping it there.
But we did just literally add one more. So Tara Davis-Woodall just won the women's long jump.
Nice.
Okay.
So we might be even unless they updated it since then. So there is one more gold medal in the USA's pocket.
And Sydney McLaughlin's going to go get another one right here, too.
Well, I think she's against Femke Bol.
Oh.
Isn't she?
Maybe.
This is the 400 hurdle.
Femke Bol. I'm so conflicted.
Oh, here she is. There's
Femke
There she is.
She's pretty fast.
Well, it's either 27 or 28. Google, figure it out. Of course, men's basketball semifinal happening right now between USA and Serbia. Winner will face France in the gold medal match, so something to keep in mind there. Right now, USA down 9, Serbia with the ball, but they are just in the second quarter with 8 minutes left to go. U.S. is leaving Paris without a medal in beach volleyball for the first time ever. Okay, I did not know that. And then last thing I want to point out here, USA women's indoor volleyball defeats Brazil to advance to the gold medal match. Of course,
men got beat last night or yesterday by Poland. They were in the mix too, but I believe they're going to play for the bronze now. But the men got knocked out last night.
Okay, there it is. That's your Islands medal count. Of course, it's all presented by Islands. Go for the gold with the coldest beer in town. Make sure you stop by Islands and go enjoy that cold beer and watch some Olympics.
Tell me if you guys experience this.
Yes.
When you watch the Olympics. And I understand that, to be an Olympic athlete is a dream, right? Like to be that good at any of those events is just, you got to be the best of the best of the best. I get it. But when you watch, what just kind of drove it home is watching these women that are going to come out and run the 400. They are the perfect human form. Like there's just nothing about their physicality that isn't perfect. They're lean, they're strong, they're fast, they're muscular, and it's just like, what am I doing with my life?
Walking.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I'm killing myself to walk for an hour.
Pull a hammy.
And these people are like, and it's like if you opened up an anatomy book, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, right.
It's just.
No, you're right.
Look at these people.
The best of the best of the best.
They're perfect human specimens.
Yep.
Just nuts. Femke Bol. Hey, you guys should. Can I watch this race in peace while you guys?
What's the distance in this?
400.
400. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm ready for Sydney and McLaughlin.
Yeah, me too. But if Femke Bol can do it, she had that killer closing leg on the 4x400 where she
Wait,
came.
you want to hear what she has to say?
Yeah, please.
Putting your mind to it, you know exactly what to do indoors. How was that for you?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, it was such a strong race. We were all running so fast, multiple running in the 50s, so I knew I had to go out fast. I had Lieke in front of me, so I wanted to be in front, and I could hear how brave she was behind me, so I was like, okay, this is good, now we keep going, and this crowd is so amazing.
had I not seen it with my own two eyes, I would have never, ever thought that somebody's having some fun. They're goofing around.
Yeah.
They're putting Mickey Mouse in Femke Bol. Okay, whatever. Cool. Do your thing. All right, so they're off.
They started.
Yep, they're off. We'll stay with it. We'll let you know how it's coming down. It's a 400-meter hurdle race right here, and Bol is looking pretty good. Looking pretty good, Slee. We'll wait for them to finish it
I
up.
like the speed climbing one. That climbing one.
Oh, dude, see that guy set the world record? Yeah, under 5 seconds.
By the way, you do this all the time where we're looking at each other, and then you see something in the Olympics. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. What happened?
They have a rock climbing wall.
Yeah.
Right? And what is that, Jorge? Maybe 30
49 meters.
49?
Yeah.
Under 5 seconds. He's like a monkey, just right up the name. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So he had done it at 475, and then he broke it at 474.
Femke Bol is going to get the bronze medal. I could not. And
New world record.
Sydney McLaughlin.
She killed
destroyed the field. New world record.
Oh, my God.
What was she, 10 meters ahead of the next closest person?
Definitely. Yeah, 50-37.
You would have to zoom out like as far as
Yeah,
out.
you're right.
As far
It's like
as
Kate
possible.
Ledecky doing the 1500 or whatever.
Oh, my God.
Congratulations.
Good for her.
There's another goal. So
There's
that make
another
30?
Yeah, and I think we also got a
We don't know
silver for our Team USA as well.
She's barely breathing. Yeah, they're better than us. Rabbit Hole's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. And how about this? Call right now. Call right now, and caller number 7, you will win a spot for you and 7 of your buddies in our ESPN LA Fantasy Football League. And you got to attend the ESPN LA Draft Party. That's coming up on Friday, August 23rd. So you got a couple of weeks there at Hollywood Park Casino. So if you have 7 friends and you can make the draft party, be caller number 7 right now. 877-710-ESPN. Rabbit Hole's coming up next. Hey, it's Travis and Slee.
The new schools come into play at the Coliseum. Obviously, you're going to have Notre Dame to finish the season. That's always a special game. But seeing Nebraska showing up, Penn State showing up, LSU at the Collie, that's what I'm really looking forward to.
I think both programs, the men's football program and the men's basketball program, are moving in the right direction. And the women's basketball program at USC is going to be ranked top 5 next year. So it's a great time for the USC Trojans to be back on ESPN LA.
I'm really curious to see, what does USC football look like without Caleb Williams? What are the adjustments that Lincoln Riley makes? And what is the defense going to look like in the non-Alex Grinch era?
New conference, new quarterback, just really fired up on the football side. New head coach for basketball, so almost like a really new team, which is going to be awesome. And then returning to prominence for USC women's basketball, to be back to where USC women's basketball is. I'm super excited to see Juju in her second year, but just the rest of the players continue to grow under Coach Godley.
This beautiful thing has been up since the first time SC was here. But guess what? USC is back! And once again, this means something for us. Pumped for this season. USC Athletics back on 710 ESPN.
IRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is the Mid-Morning Spectacular live from LA Live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
There is no earthly way of knowing which direction we are going.
Nothing can possibly go wrong.
Unless it's Jorge picking before any of us, and then it can always go wrong.
Take me out of the
he's
draft,
always going to do something he doesn't actually care about. and
it's
beat
my
us in the
lane.
draft.
he's got a shot. He likes to hit it.
Right here.
But
You guys make it too easy for me.
Rabbit holes, whatever internet story has been what we've been obsessed over the past couple days. So Al, why don't you start us off?
Okay, so this is one. It's kind of a random one that I came about the last couple of days. Basically, the theme of it is like, not every hero wears capes, and it's got like all these dads with their kids, and just something randomly happens. So a kid could be on a swing, and something happens, and the dad is just there at the perfect time to kind of, hey, you're good. A kid is sitting on the couch, and the kid kind of gets too close to the edge, and I'm sure I'm already stressed out anytime watching this. And the dad kind of like comes out of nowhere, or the dad uses his leg to like make sure this happens at whatever it is. Right?
Every dad's done that 48 times.
I thought it was the funny, not funny, but I thought it was like a perfect description of like pops coming out of nowhere, having the instinct, and if we feel like we might have the instinct, imagine the motherly instinct, which is like a completely another level. But that's predominantly what the videos were. And this same guy does, it's pretty cool what he does. It's got basically like Superman on the bottom of the screen, and then on top it's got the video, and it's just, that's his entire theme, just finding different things where people do something for others.
Jorge, have you had that moment where, especially when the kids are young like your kids are, where you can see what's about to happen in like 5 or 6 seconds from, like, you can see it starts to unfold in almost slow motion, and you rate the one that you mentioned, Slee, is the one for sure. Like, there's little kids will sit, when they sit on the couch, they don't sit with like their butt towards the back with your back against they sit with their back facing where your legs usually are.
Yeah.
And kids are, not to be weird, they're top heavy. They got these big heads, so they don't have great balance, and they're always getting ready to fall off the couch. And you can be on the other side of the room, and you see it like it's in slow motion,
it's an instinct. You just run,
and you just start going. And by the time you get there, is when they finally start to tip over, and it is so scary.
Yeah, when we're just walking by ourselves, we can't even catch our own fall.
No,
trip over a curb.
Exactly. But you get super speed, dad speed in those moments.
All right, Jorge, what's your rabbit hole?
So with a group of friends and stuff, we were like talking about, the soccer guys. We were talking about traveling and going different places. Yeah. What is that supposed to?
That was Femke and Messi.
That was a girl.
Femke and Messi.
But boys. Anyway, so these guys were talking about zip lining and this and this. So one of them sent me a video. It's traveling through Dubai, the Dubai Marina. It's something called the X line. It's the longest zip line in the longest urban zip line in the entire world. So basically, they launch you from the top of this building, right?
I've seen it,
bro. And then
super cool.
They put you in a Superman, like on your tummy, and they send you down, and you're going down, and you see the buildings, the marina, and then you end up somewhere near the marina. But they launch you from there, and I just kept
end up in the ocean.
Yeah, eventually. Hopefully not. But person after person just trying this, I was like, "There's no freaking way I would ever get on that."
They'd be unloading.
I would do that.
A corpse.
I would do that. Really?
With
that,
me
from that high?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, listen. If you're gonna do like ziplining is a good example. Whether I'm already at a height where if something happens, it's done. So why don't I just, if I'm a little bit higher, what does it matter? Like at that point, there's one time I did ziplining and they have you, I think there's maybe 6 or 7 different ways that you can be on the zip line. You could one hand, you could do it backwards, you could do this, and every one that they made you go on, you had to do it differently. This one, of course, is like the one where you feel like you're flying.
Then I came across one where the zip line rips, not there, but just a different zip line, and
stuff breaks.
And I'm like, why are you guys?
Stuff breaks.
Yeah.
Bad stuff happens. So I'm not kidding when I say this. By the time my carcass arrived at the end of the line, they'd just be loading me into a body bag because I'd have cardiac arrest and I'd drop dead. I wouldn't want to go on an elevator to the top of that building and stay inside the building. No interest. We're on the second floor of this building. It's as high as I want to be.
Also, I don't
even like that.
You know that iconic picture of the construction workers sitting on the beam?
Yeah.
Well, they recreated that in New York. They sit you on a beam. They put you up there.
That's at the top of the rock.
Yeah.
30 Rock Center.
So I saw a bunch of like different adventurous things from different cities.
Seen those guys that like paint the Golden Gate Bridge?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's just lunacy to me.
Even
I
the
know
guys
it
that
needs
are
to get done.
the
but
guys that are painting the billboards here.
I know, yeah, no.
Like, gosh.
Never.
All right, so mine, a little rabbit hole, rabbit hole, more of just a revisit of an older rabbit hole that I went on when I was a kid. But the apparently kid, apparently I've never been on live TV before.
That guy's
you know
awesome.
what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yep.
So I think his name is, let me pull it up. I had it. Noah Ritter. He recreated the apparently 10 years later at the same fair because he's still going back. So, obviously he went viral for that. When going viral was a little more special back then. Went on Ellen, became friends with Ellen, not hosted, but was one of the judges on a TV show where kids judged toys. Like, he was one of the kids. Apparently this toy sucks. But now he's 15. And he's
Apparently, this toy sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now he's 15. He's still living with his and going to the fair with his grandpa. So it's kind of sweet, just a little full circle. But then another rabbit hole that I had that I went on slightly this morning, but more over time since this has been announced. The Saturday Night trailer was released today, which is a new movie from Sony that is about the very first taping, or I guess live airing of Saturday Night Live. And it stars all this huge host of incredible young talent in Hollywood, mixed with some really, really key big players. So Willem Dafoe, J.K. Simmons is in this, but also Finn Wolfhard, Dylan O'Brien, Rachel Sennett, Cooper Hoffman. And it's just...
It looks great.
I'm really excited about it. I hope it's good. The guy who plays Cousin Greg's in it.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited for this movie to come out because I love SNL.
Me
I love
too.
the history of SNL. And I think that they nailed it. I think, at least from the trailer,
Is
nailed the
this
look.
a streamer, Em, or is it going to be in theaters?
It's going to be on theaters.
Okay.
It's distributed by Sony. And I'm excited to see how it all goes. But it's basically a 90 minutes, the quote-unquote 90 minutes leading up to the very first airing of Saturday Night Live. And it's probably going to be a 90-minute movie. So it's probably going to be minute by minute.
Like
second
in
by
real
second.
time.
Yeah, seems to be what the goal is, that it's real time, 90 minutes leading up.
Okay. Couple of things. Number one, I don't love that idea. I like the story, the idea of the run up to the first show, but I don't know if I need it in real time. Put that
Again,
aside.
might not happen, but it seems like what it's going to be.
I am in on this. This is one of those things that when it comes out, I will see it in the theater. I know there's not a lot of movies that there's things that I'll see out there oh, that looks good. When I went to see Twisters the other day and they played the trailer for, was it Dee Dee? Is that what it's called? I'm like, oh, that looks good. I knew I'll never see that.
Or you'll see it when it's on Netflix maybe someday.
Maybe someday. Yeah. But there was zero chance I'm going into the theater to see that.
Yeah.
I'm going to see that.
Yeah.
That because of what you said. I think SNL is fascinating. The history in particular of it is fascinating, especially that cast with Belushi and Gilda Radner and Garrett Morris and just that and Aykroyd and Chase. It's just, just who's who of heavyweights in that thing.
And again, not to these people might not turn into those kind of heavyweights long term, but these are incredible ascending talents in young Hollywood. So get on them early. Go see this. It's gonna be exciting.
So mine is, and Emily, you were saying a second ago, to go viral 15 years ago was far more difficult than it is now, because even if you go viral, you're viral for a day, and then we're on to the next thing. Did you guys see this? High school pitcher, and he's in the middle of his windup, and as he's getting ready to release the ball, he vomits. Okay, and it's just
Jesus
everywhere. And they've slow-moed it, and it looks like he's exploding from the inside out. It's just unreal. And this kid had a moment where he, all of a sudden this video's got 10 million views or whatever it is. And it's crazy. But because the algorithm knows what it does, and I looked at I'm like, now all I'm getting is athletes vomiting during competition. It's Don McNabb in the Super Bowl. It's Cade McNown at the Rose Bowl. And it's
Jordan?
It happens all the time. Once you go down, it's like, here's another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. I'm like,
Puka did last year, too.
Who did?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Puka did, too.
I think
Absolutely.
Right. A pitcher from the Angels, too, recently.
It happens all the time, and I'm like, what? And I looked at it, I don't know how long I stared at it for, maybe 2 minutes or so. I'm like, what are you watching?
Yeah.
Stop. Get out of here. So I kind of went out.
Now you're only going to get this.
Now I went to the next rabbit hole, which was golf cart idiots crashing golf carts into ponds and sand traps. That I watched for like 20 minutes.
Jackass style. Remember Jackass did
well,
that? Oh.
they're all drunk white guys acting the fool. And they all deserve what they get.
Have you seen the one where they tie the snake to their buddy's pants?
I must
yeah, that's right.
I've seen that.
That's right.
Dude, by the way, if you're doing that to somebody that has a genuine, like, real fear of snakes.
And is over the age of 60, let's relax
this
here.
one guy is so scared, he starts backpedaling. He trips over the golf cart. He falls over. He jumps up. He runs around. He's 60-something years old. He's way overweight. He's panting and he's screaming, "Get the blank away from me. Get the blank away from me." He's wildly swinging the golf club to try to get this thing off
And
him.
his homies are laughing.
And his buddies are yelling, "It's fake. It's fake. It's fake." And he stops and he goes, "I really hate snakes." And he was an inch away from dropping dead.
Having a heart
It's not
attack.
funny.
No, I'm with you.
That's not funny.
And you're a prank guy. Like you love pranks.
That is the worst manifestation of that stuff. It's like you really want to scare someone within an inch of
100%
their
I'm with you.
life? That's not funny.
No, funny. The guy in the golf cart throwing marshmallows just everywhere. Just marshmallows.
That's fine.
Never throwing people out. He's
There's
laughing.
one guy that has speaking of golf courses, he's got a home on a golf course. And every time, this specific hole, it's hit close to him, his backyard is literally right up to where most of these balls are hit. So what he does is he'll take the guy's ball and then he'll lay down with his head down and put the ball right next to him so somebody thinks they hit him in the head.
That's great.
Pretty freaking funny.
A little Olympic update. We're not quite there, but we're getting closer to being interested in Olympic basketball. Serbia has a 13-point lead on the Americans with a little over a minute to go in the second quarter. It's 50-37. Serbia with a lead over Team USA. Again, 1 minute and 11 seconds to go in the second quarter. So you keep that lead into
Set the tone here.
Yeah,
Get it into halftime, and if they're up double digits, you got at least USA thinking about something in the second half.
Look, I'm for the first time in this tournament.
I'm with you.
I'm paying attention.
And listen, there's no pressure on the United States when you're up 15 to Brazil and you know that's going to become a 30-point game.
Yeah.
The only situation you're in with pressure is it's halftime.
Yep.
Jokic and his guys, by the way, Jokic and his guys have a double-digit lead on you.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to win, the Americans?
I think it's a toss-up at this point. I
Do
actually
you really
believe that.
Oh, because I think they're going to win.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they have a 8 or more point lead in the fourth quarter is when this is real.
Okay.
They might
That's fair.
lose.
Yeah, that's good.
This is NBA basketball basically. A 10-point lead is nothing. We've seen them disappear in a half. They need to make 2 threes and get a stop, and it's a 4-point game.
M's got it covered.
I was like, the Lakers were up by 20.
Yeah, but the Lakers weren't any good.
Yeah,
this team's pretty good. That's the difference. This team has a lot of good players.
Do you think that I'm talking about
14.
the Serbians?
Yeah.
The Serbians are the Lakers. They're up by 14 now.
Yeah, 14. We're getting there. 20 seconds to go, so in the first half.
Right. Jokic is looking back to guys, I was in the playoffs against LeBron and Anthony Davis. That's his speech. And
yeah, and he did it.
Yeah.
LeBron, here we go. LeBron will do what he does. He'll get a bucket. He'll get a foul. Both, maybe.
Yeah,
both. Yeah,
Yeah.
There you go.
That's both.
Not super complicated.
Then he uses the too small.
Yeah, the dub Super Crosstalk coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. All right, Slee, Prize Picks.
Yep.
We've talked about it a lot.
Yes,
and
sir.
It's just here's what's great about Prize Picks.
I got some
Other
good picks.
than you can turn $10 into $1,000, which is pretty awesome. Even in a game that's kind of out of hand, for instance, last night in the Dodger game, right? The Phillies, all of a sudden, it's kind of out of hand. The Phillies are running away with it. But if you're playing Prize Picks and you have the more than on a couple of things or the less than on a couple of things, you're paying attention to the very end because you've got a little something going on. And that's how easy Prize Picks is. You pick more or less than their stat projection, and you can turn a little money into a lot of money. $10 into $1,000.
I love what you just said about that because tonight I got a couple games. I don't have interest in the Yankees. I don't have interest in Toronto, but this is why I have interest. If Aaron Judge gets a single and if Vladimir Guerrero gets 2 singles, then I win 9.5 times whatever I put into it. This is how you do it. You download the Prize Picks app today. Use that code 710 for a first deposit match of up to $100. So if you go on Prize Picks, download the app, use our code 710, and they'll match your first deposit of up to $100. You could see for yourself, pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
I use DVRs.
That seems off.
Brian, do you use a DVR?
I haven't DVR'd anything in like 10 years.
Maybe it's us.
Yeah.
Wow. The biggest show on the radio today at 1 p.m.
on 710 ESPN.
Experience the Summer Stadium Tour featuring Def Leppard, Journey, and Steve Miller Band at SoFi Stadium on Sunday, August 25th. For a limited time, single suite tickets are available for purchase. Rock out to your favorite bands this summer while enjoying the ultimate premium experience fit for you and your friends. Don't miss Def Leppard, Journey, and Steve Miller Band at SoFi Stadium on August 25th. For more information on tickets and premium suites, visit SoFiStadium.com today.
Hey kids, Uncle Artie here from Pernia Law, here to tell you about a newer sponsorship deal with Matt Barnes, who has deep LA roots, former Bruin and pro basketball player for both LA teams.
If you're looking for the best possible results after an accident, call my guy, Uncle Artie, at Pernia Law. And there's never any upfront fees. They collect when you collect. And for the record, their win-loss record puts them in the top of the standings. That's 844-DIAL-UNC. That's 844-DIAL-UNC.
Is your vehicle due for service? Before you hit the road for that summer road trip, head into your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. No dragging the kids into a dirty waiting room. At Valvoline, you stay in your car safe while the expert technicians make sure your ride is in its best. Oil changes, tire rotations, transmission care, and more. Pull up, drive in, and drive out in about 15 minutes. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for locations and game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Summer's just getting started, so fill your cooler with the smooth and refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. It tastes like real iced tea because it's made with real brewed tea. And with a 5% kick of alcohol, Twisted Tea is perfect for the beach, the lake, or wherever you're hanging out and day drinking with your friends. Look for the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Something amazing is happening in workplaces everywhere. Devices are learning how people work and adapting to help them get more done. That's because CDW is modernizing experiences with Dell's intelligent portfolio of devices. Thanks to built-in security and AI capabilities, your teams can work smarter wherever they may be. Dell and CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Dell Client.
It's time for everything we haven't gotten to today. Yes, it's time for the dump.
You and DeAndre are freaking out a little bit, like somehow the Americans might lose this game. You guys are good. Relax.
I'm actually, listen, I've said this before. I just don't get into USA basketball. It just doesn't draw me the way. If it was more competitive, if I knew USA actually had a shot at losing, I'd just be more into it. Now, they are down 11 at the half. I don't know what kind of money DeAndre has on this game, but this dude was sweating in here. He was nervous. Very nervous.
Yeah, not yet. It's put it this way, at least for the first time ever, it's a little interesting.
Yeah.
But not yet.
The one thing that could change any of this, that if USA loses, I think it has more to just do with the factor that Jokic is on that team. He's seen all these guys. Now, granted, he has not seen them all play together.
How many other NBA players are on Team Serbia? I know they've got a couple more.
Bogdanovic is on there.
Yeah. But it's not a roster. They don't have 12 NBA guys. That's what I mean. As great as Jokic is.
No, you're right.
And he is.
He's the best player in the world.
3-time MVP. Like, it's Nikola Jokic. I get it. They got NBA players from the top all the way down. That's why I just don't think they're going to. It's an 11-point lead.
11 is 11.
11 is 11. They'll be fine.
They've already played Serbia twice, too.
Yeah. Now, maybe Serbia was playing a little possum, just like do not give them what we're going to run them in the medal round. There might be a little bit of that.
Okay, I didn't even know this. DeAndre mentioned this earlier. I guess Serbia was down like 20-plus in the last game against Australia.
Yeah, they had to make a wild comeback. Yeah.
I hope they weren't doing it to us. Don't show Australia anything either.
Look, if your goal is to win the gold medal, then you got to play a little bit of poker, right? You got to
if you're good enough.
If you're good enough,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, like you said, they got the best guy in the world, so we'll see. I'm not quite worried about it yet.
By the way, that would be the only one. If they lost this game, we're saying silver counts.
Yeah.
If USA lost this game and all of a sudden we're in a silver game against Germany, and you got
the
Wemby,
bronze, you mean?
Or I'm sorry, for the bronze, I think Tyrese Halliburton might get 37 minutes of play.
I cannot imagine caring about anything less. Like as little as I care about the basketball to
that's
begin
my
with.
point. My point is that they wouldn't care either.
No, for sure.
By the way, Grant Holloway for Team USA just won the 110-meter hurdles for men. So
31?
another gold.
I think that makes 31.
No, I'm going back because I don't know what Google's doing.
So,
29 golds for USA.
Okay.
Maybe they haven't counted this one yet. 28 now for China.
Like, are these guys that win these are they super famous in Europe? I know that's where track and field is at its most popular. Mm-hmm. Like, is this Grant Holloway guy walking down the street in Barcelona and everybody's like, dude, that's Grant Holloway? I don't know.
Can I ask something? Why do they ring the bell there?
So they brought that to the Olympics this year. I don't know if it's a French thing or just a thing that they're trying, but the athletes, after they win a gold medal, they go over and they ring the bell.
Trying to like make a Liberty Bell?
Yeah, but they're like fired up for it. It's not like sometimes you try to do a thing and it's like people are like,
doesn't work.
Fine.
Ding. Because at a bar you get a tip and
yeah.
They actually got gold and silver in that event. Daniel Roberts got silver.
There was a bell in Joe's office yesterday. Did you happen to spot that right by the front door? Yeah, maybe when they close, and ding ding when they go and they win everybody their money. Ding ding ding.
Would you rather have a bell or a gong?
We used to have a gong back there, so we would use a gong.
A gong is such a specific sound. Yeah, it's deep. It's
I like gong.
Yeah, gong.
I'd rather have a gong.
I think you're right, Em. I think gong is the
gong.
better choice right there. So Charles Barkley, shockingly, is not going to retire from television. Despite threatening to retire from TV for the 14th consecutive season, he has decided to not retire.
Do you know what feels like he's threatening that whole time? Like himself. Like it's almost like he's battling with himself. I don't want to do this anymore. And then they just throw more money at him, and he's like, I will continue to do this.
I understand why he does it, because it does give him some leverage and some negotiations and stuff.
Honestly, I don't think it's for the leverage or the negotiations.
It might be. It might be, because he's not going anywhere.
But my point is that certain people need leverage. Certain people need to negotiate. LeBron James doesn't need leverage. LeBron's going to get the most that they can pay.
But he still
him.
does it all the time.
He does it for different reasons.
Yeah, but same thing, right?
But for him, if it's just okay,
if I can squeeze another 10% out of you, I'm going to do it.
You could be right, but I almost feel like with Charles Barkley, there's a few people where it's probably not going to come down to monetary. Maybe there's other things.
Yeah, I think he likes being the center of conversation. That's why there's no world. Charles Barkley, I feel very confident in saying, will be on TV as long as he is physically capable of being on TV. He likes being on TV. He's tremendous at it. He might be one of the great television personalities of all time, and that's why, even though the NBA is leaving TNT after the season, they are thinking of turning their studio show Inside the NBA into more of a Sports Center-ish kind of show called Inside Sports. Quote, the company is considering turning the show into Inside Sports, allowing Barkley to talk about other sports the company airs, including baseball, hockey, college basketball, college football, according to a person familiar with the matter. Sure. I mean, when Charles Barkley popped on during the Stanley Cup final, yeah, that was great. He was funny. He was interesting. He's entertaining. He's Charles Barkley. If Charles Barkley wants to break down a baseball game every night, I'm in. I would listen to Charles Barkley talk about nearly anything. He's wildly entertaining.
Here's what's going to happen. I think if they do a show like that, first off, for whatever sport, it's going to kill it social. Because they're going to take clips of Charles Barkley, and if he has an opinion on Patrick Mahomes or he has an opinion on Caleb Williams, or it doesn't matter.
Is that enough to drive a TV show?
So this is what I was going to say. I think they could get the attention based on Charles Barkley said this, and they'll be able to get that attention. The question then is going to become, at 10 o'clock, are you going to go out of your way and say, I'm going to watch this from 10 to 11 o'clock? I know inside the NBA, I would do that.
Yeah.
I would 100% do that. And I do that over any other show
because
that's out
it's basketball or because it's them?
because it's them.
Yeah, so if they're doing hockey or baseball.
So what I was going to say, because it's them and because it was basketball. But a lot of people I know that would watch Inside the NBA that weren't even sports fans were watching it because of them. So I think this could definitely be successful.
What do you guys think of Snoop and the way he's doing the Olympics? It's just entertaining, right?
Did you see what I saw a report. I don't know if this is true or not, but I read it yesterday.
Oh, 500, yeah.
500K a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
yeah.
Isn't he also was part of the reason why
Yeah.
was part of the reason why too he's going to be a part of The Voice or something like that?
He is going to be part of The Voice.
There was a lot of kind of cross promotion for that.
Well, no, I get why they're doing it, but $500,000 a day? That's good work. And here's the thing: he's not unlike Charles Barkley. He's endlessly watchable. No matter what he's like. I saw a thing where he and Martha Stewart were doing. They went to equestrian events, and she was kind of explaining to him.
Yeah.
He was funny. He was compelling. He was excited. I saw one the other day where he was just sitting on the set chopping it up with Mike Tirico, and he was great. Like, there's not too many things. There are not a lot of Barkleys and Snoops that just get them talking, and you're going to get people to watch.
$500,000 a day to be at the Olympics, to be in Paris.
Yeah. And how much
to
work
hang
do you
out.
think he's doing? Like, and I don't mean that in like a bad way.
No,
but
I know what you mean.
They
I
go
know
to
he's-
shoot something at the Equestrian Center with Martha Stewart.
Yep.
Yeah.
They shoot that in a couple hours, probably.
Do a couple of these things a day.
Has
He
to be
probably
present
has.
a lot. Has to be on in terms of like you have to be somewhere, which again is it's kind of work. To be
Probably
somewhere.
probably a lot of commitments to partners and this and that.
They brought him to the booth for Telemundo with Andres Cantor.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, man, pleasure to have you here. He's like, hey, let's practice give me your best goal. And they do it together.
Did Snoop do it?
Oh, yeah.
How was it?
It was good. I'll look it up. I'll pull it up. And,
Okay.
no, it was good. It's good.
It's
Andres
probably not-
Cantor is the guy that goes, goal.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's probably not unlike when like someone for a movie or whatever has to just do a press junket all day, every day, but they don't get paid $500,000 to do it. They usually have to pay to do it sometimes.
How should I do his hourly rate? By 24 hours?
No.
Or by 8?
No, by 8. It's not 8. I bet it's not 6 or even 5.
Let's just do 8.
Okay, yeah. Do 8. What do we get
He's
to?
making $62.5 an hour.
Good. It's a good job. Think about if you made $500,000 in 1 year. How much money that is? That's a lot of money.
A lot of money.
One day, and then you get up the next day, another day, another day, another day. This Olympics is really interesting to me.
It's good life.
We've talked about this. Talked about it with John and Steve the last couple of days too. I don't know why this one has landed so much more effectively.
Yeah, you loved it.
The Tokyo ones, you kind of have to throw that away because that was a COVID situation and there weren't a lot of people there, and it just toss it away. London didn't hit like this. Rio didn't hit like this. You know, Beijing and Sydney and going back to like Athens. Like,
I think Beijing did though.
do you?
I do think so. The 2008 Olympics was a big deal.
The only thing I remember about that,
Opening ceremony.
yes, because it was
And Michael Phelps.
See,
oh yeah,
sure.
Phelps too.
Now that you
Yeah.
tell me that,
Yeah.
but I don't associate. I associate the drummers from the opening ceremony where they had I don't know how many 500 drummers and they
something
were
like
in
that.
perfect
And
precision.
it was Sean Johnson, Nasir Liuk, and gymnastics.
Yeah, you remember it pretty well.
It was very seminal to me, and I think maybe my generation really thinks about
Yeah.
that because I was 12 years old at that
Yeah,
point in time.
maybe.
I was parked in front of my TV all summer.
What is it about this one though? Is it just that Paris is beautiful?
For me, the 96 Summer Olympics was the most memorable to me. It was the most I was into. And I think I don't know if that's an age thing. I don't know because I was around 13, 14 at that time. I was hooked. I was also playing, I forget which one it was, Nintendo, whatever it was. You had the Olympics that you could play on there, and I played that.
Sonic and Mario usually race in the Olympics, but I don't know if it's a different one for you.
It was an Olympic game where you're doing all what they're doing, and I was just completely into it. I think I mentioned the opening ceremony with Muhammad Ali. I remember that vividly, lighting the torch. This one hasn't hit me the way it's hit you.
It hasn't
because
gotten
if
you.
I'm not in the studio, I'm not going home and catching up on everything.
You've watched it a lot.
Padres are playing
I've
the
watched
Pirates.
it a ton.
I don't have time.
Yeah, I haven't watched. I didn't watch much from Rio. I didn't watch much from London. But
Is it because you're less busy with your kids?
Could be.
Your kids.
But like, I
What
don't
the
know.
hell was that? You're less busy? Are you saying he's got less responsibility?
I'm just saying he's got walks
she's
to do.
right.
He's got walks to do, and then hanging out with Susan.
I got very little to do at night anymore. There's no more baseball or
And-
volleyball games to get to.
I also think that Tokyo was both a bad mix of it's a terrible timing in terms of like time zone wise to watch it live.
Yeah.
And then you don't want to watch it because you already know the results. Now it's like, okay, theoretically, if you're in California, you're the earliest that you have to wake up to watch it, which is maybe 7 o'clock in the morning, to watch it live.
Even, and you're right, that's a big part of it. But even when they do like the primetime special where everything that's running after 8 o'clock is over, it's the stuff that happened way earlier in the day, I'm still finding myself watching it, and I keep coming back to the same thing.
You guys want to hear?
Paris is just beautiful. It's just a really pretty place to look at.
You don't see Paris that much. You're seeing the game.
But there's a cutaway nearly every second. Between every point, they're cutting away to some other, the Louvre, the Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe.
It's probably something else.
It's all of those.
It's probably something else. It's probably not just that, because for you to be that into this, maybe it is just the time and the focus that you get to pay attention to.
I get to watch them at night, and Maite's sitting next to me, but I think I've ruined Maite's watching experience because I was telling Em yesterday. I caught her. I heard her talk to her grandpa because we're at the in-laws yesterday. She's like, "Hey, grandpa, look at the pool. You see the camera under the pool, or look at the track. You see the track on the rails."
You're looking at it as a TV producer.
I am looking at it like that, and it's feeding like to her, like she's grasping all these things and asking her grandpa, like, have you seen this? Have you seen that? But she's enjoying it. I'm enjoying this one, Brent. We all watch it at night.
By the way, with this too, it's like I understand they are trying to cover a lot as the directors and as the producers. There's a lot of games to cover, a lot of things to cover in terms of how you execute when you're in the breaks. But multiple times in that women's water polo semifinal, they went to break. They shouldn't have gone to break. They come right back out of it. They made a lot of mistakes on that broadcast. So
Emily's going to get people fired.
I mean,
you can't do that in the middle.
That's why we have NFL.
Do your job, or I'll do it for you.
The Americans are now down by 8. They've cut into it a little bit. Where early,
might be right on this.
10-minute quarters in the Olympics, right?
Yeah, 10-minute quarters.
So 8 minutes less time to kind of make up whatever deficit you might create for yourself.
But their defense, just to kind of start off, Serbia is not even close to hitting a bucket here to start off. So
Jokic just took a contested, what was that, a 25, 26-footer? Yeah. I'm not worried. Stick with me, fellas.
Might be right.
Stick with me. You're listening to KSPN Los Angeles, a Good Karma Brands radio station. See, The Simpsons. There is another one.
Exactly.
That's why it's on the list. Dustin Hoffman turns 80. Dustin Hoffman's still alive, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman.
My Captain Hook.
87. Is that what you think of him?
No, I think The Graduate. But like, my Captain Hook is Dustin Hoffman because he plays Captain Hook in Hook, which I should have gotten in the draft and I never got for Spielberg movies.
So you go.
And I took that one too, by the way.
Yeah, that's your jam. It's The Graduate for you.
Yeah, and then there's is it All the President's Men?
All the President's Men. He plays Bernstein.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or no, Woodward. No, Bernstein.
Woodward is Redford.
Redford, yeah.
He's in Meet the Fockers.
Yeah. Nobody said the one that I think of first.
What is it?
Rain Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's because it's Tom Cruise.
Yeah. You're missing out on a lot of stuff because you just decide. Have you seen it?
Yes, I've seen Rain Man.
Okay.
Yes.
It's pretty good. I mean, I know Tom Cruise is Tom Cruising in it, but just maybe try some things. See how it goes.
Again, I've tried a lot of these things, and I like some of things despite Tom Cruise.
Back up to 10 for the Serbians.
I don't think Serbia has been inside the 3-point line. They're taking 33-footers and hoping it goes in.
So, Slee, I remember I'll go back 2 springs ago.
Okay.
And you're like, Troy, I want to keep playing pickleball. I'm going to keep going. Then after the tournament, you're like, I really like this. I'm going to keep playing pickleball. Today is National Pickleball Day. How many times have you played pickleball since the last pickleball tournament? Not the one that got rained out, but the one before that.
So here's what happened. I just want to talk about it. I'd like to discuss it. I'd like to use this opportunity to discuss it.
Okay, great.
Right after the first pickleball tournament ended, one time after, Greg and I played in Pasadena. Since that moment, I've yet to play pickleball. I will no longer be going back to pickleball. What I'd like to do is play more tennis, which I've mentioned to you, but no more pickleball. Pickleball's done. National Pickleball Day, I don't think that's going to do it.
What changed? It's just because you seemed like you were gung-ho, and then...
I like games like that, but that game is not... I don't know, it's not that, to be honest with you, like after a few minutes, it's not fun. Just the action in that game,
that'll do it.
I'm not crazy about it.
So my friends and I were having a conversation about this. And again, I know that women can do this, but so a lot of times in business situations and just in life, a lot of times where men talk to each other is at golf. Men like to golf together, and it's one thing that, again, not that like women are left out of it. It's just not comparatively, not a lot of women golf. I know that women do, so that's that. But generally, almost every guy I know in business at some point has taken up golfed at some point, used it as a point of networking, etc. That you can, let's go golfing together. And I know you love that, and I think that's really great. But my friend and I were talking, like, what's the like female equivalent of golf in terms of business? And again, it's not like, women can't golf, but like, is it pickleball? Where like women get together and they can be like tangential networking friends.
So you're talking strictly from a business perspective.
Networking business.
Yeah.
Client acquisition.
Tennis,
yeah.
Could it be, tennis probably? Hiking, maybe?
Brenda has gone to a couple of brunch sessions with some of her coworkers, and we're going to go for brunch. I'm like, all right.
But if it's like active, you're saying? Something active?
If I wanted
social.
If I wanted to go, if I was someone, I wanted to entertain a client as a woman with another woman client, where would I take her?
Bowling?
Ugh.
No?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Why not? What's wrong
I
with
just don't
bowling?
think they do it. Nothing's wrong with
No.
it. I just don't think they do it.
It's not really as common, as ubiquitous.
Well,
as
it's
golf,
funny because occasionally I will play work golf, but not very often, and I hate it. Because it's work. Like, and this is where I thought you were going with this, Em. So there's this idea, right, that men, when we open up to one another, we do it facing, both of us looking this direction.
Instead of facing each other, yeah.
Women do it facing each other. So I play golf entirely as a social activity, whether it's with my dad or my friends or my kids. It's just, I want to go spend time with them, but we're not just going to go grab a cup of coffee and sit down and talk to each other for 3 hours the way that women do and can. Like Susan goes to play bunco with her group of friends. She's in a couple of different groups.
Bunko is kind of in the middle of
That's
that.
what I was going to say.
Good.
Like bunko could be a thing. Like cabbie parties, which is like a closed thing that she
Book
does.
clubs.
Book clubs. Like I think those are much more social than anything else. But we're going to sit around and do it. Guys need a thing to do while we're talking to each other.
Sure. Poker, this.
Yeah,
that,
poker's a perfect example. Golf, bowling. Like we're all going to stare at the bowling alley, but we're actually just there to drink beers and talk to each other. Go to a game. We're staring at the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people I know have done it through kickball. Honestly, through my league, and kickball has been a way in which I like network with other teams and figure out people that do other sports. Other women that work in the sporting industry do kickball because we like sports. But I don't know. I was just having a conversation with my friend about that because, again, not that I can't do golf, not that I don't.
You ever tried to play?
No.
Yeah.
One, it's the expense that kind of is a barrier of entry for me, and then also just I don't know. I don't like learning a new thing in front of other people. I want to be kind of good at it before I'm in front of other
that's the
people.
problem with golf, right? Like, so it's the expense is a huge barrier to entry for sure.
Go play a round of golf.
There's nothing fun about playing golf if you can't get the ball in the air. That's no fun, and it's not fun for the people you're playing with if you can't get the ball in the air. That's just not
like
a good time.
A ski trip. If you can't ski,
right? I can sit in the lodge and slam, hot buttered rum.
Yeah,
usually, you and I, a couple times we've got together and we networked. We went to the gym and just maxed out. We
took Cody to Top Golf before he left. I took a couple swings and
You
were good.
You gotta like golf.
I was just
okay.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You gotta like golf, and if it's golf's hard, like bowling. Pretty much everybody can roll the ball down the middle of the alley.
A couple bumpers on there.
Yeah. Golf, what's the equivalent of bumpers? You still have to get the ball in the air. It just really does. Do you have Snoop
Dogg? Yeah.
All right, check it.
You gotta hold that thing. Ahí viene Lindsey Juan con la pelota, peligro, viene.
He held it for 12 seconds.
Andres Cantor should do the Snoop as long as he could too, which would be good.
That's terrific. I like that a lot. Snoop, you know what is great about Snoop? He'll put himself out there.
Sure.
He'll try. Like he's not worried about looking goofy or wrong or silly or
like protecting his brand.
Yeah, he just kind of lets it rip. That's
got nothing
an
to lose
incredibly
anymore. He's done
quality.
everything.
We're down to 9. Did that count? That did
12.
count. 12. Back up to 12. All right. You know what? You officially have my attention.
Yeah, but I will say it's kind of weird. USA's playing great defense. USA can't score. Like
That's
the
odd.
shots they're taking are. Other than how many threes do you think Steph Curry has right now?
0.
He has 8.
He's made
He's
8
hit
threes?
8 threes, and he's basically the only one that's doing anything.
Huh. Because
he's got
had
27. Look at it. Steph Curry's got 27.
This is the first game that he's really exploded. He's been
one
really
game
quiet.
where he had 30, but that might have been one of those friendlies.
All right, so and what are we doing here? Are the guys here yet?
They're here, and we're going to keep it until they are ready to come in.
You should talk a little bit, I know we mentioned this a little bit earlier in the show, but you were talking about the Dodgers, and you were talking specifically about kind of their situation and their predicament. It's the first time I've ever heard you say that
they have a fatal flaw.
Yeah.
They have something with their team that I don't think they can fix between now and the time it starts, and that's their bullpen. And it's not that they don't have talented guys down there, but they've asked them to do things that are unsustainable. You asked them to basically get you through June and July. Okay, the pitching just blew up. Hey, guys, we're going to lean on you hard through June and July. And they did a decent enough job to get them to where they are right now, to where they are still in the mix for the best record in the National League. But the last week or two, the bullpen's been bad. And it's not just that, okay, just picking a guy at random, that Vezina has been struggling. It's not just that.
Sure.
It's he hasn't looked the same. Phillips hasn't looked the same for a while. Trinan is down again. Hudson is a guy that's struggled to stay healthy at various points in his career. All these guys they're trying, they all look terribly vulnerable, and you're going to need not one or even two or maybe three. You're going to need 4 guys that you can count on in this situation, and they just don't have them, and this is what you have. And you've got to get through the next month and a half with these same guys, because now all of a sudden you're in a race with the Padres and the Diamondbacks, so you can't cruise, you can't take your foot off the gas. You got to lean on these guys, which is going to make it even worse.
Lowest you felt about the team this year?
Lowest I felt about the team having a flaw that's unfixable. Like, they're going to score. Look, maybe they have a week or two where they score 8 runs a game.
Sure. But you can't depend on that.
You can't depend, not against the teams they're going to be playing. You're going to have to pitch a little bit, and they don't have it. You see this, John? They're in the middle of
yeah,
they got all the way down.
I mailed my
to
friend
6.
Scott Young $50.
Oh, yeah?
I took USA. He has the field.
Oh, okay.
And,
it's 6. I mean,
they got it down
12.
to 6. It was 19.
Yeah, it's been they seem to have got going a little. I guess Curry's going off all of a sudden. Would you say he's got 8 threes?
8 threes.
You may need to hit 8 more.
He's the only one
But
scoring.
it just goes to show you how good Jokic is, man. You put him out there with the 4 of us, and
how
they
many
got
other
a
NBA
chance.
guys are on the team? 2 or 3 more
Bogdanovic
on the
is on
Serbian
there. I
team.
don't know who else is on there.
Bogdan Bogdanovic is on there, and I think there's one other guy.
So 3 NBA players against 12
Tops.
NBA players.
And Bogdanovic is, that guy's not making an all-star team.
No. This is what are we? We're down 6. All right.
They're not dead.
No, I still think they're going to win,
no.
but that it's a game late into the
They
third
have played
quarter.
as bad as you can play up until this point.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Sliwa was saying they're having trouble just getting the ball in the basket.
Well, and they're turning it over a lot, and the one thing that I'm really surprised about is their defense. They're giving up a lot of open shots. He's
Not in the
now-
second half. Second half,
He's
it's
now
been
put
different.
like Derek White and Bam Adebayo into the game, and shots are still going in for Serbia. So they're down 8 with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the third quarter. So they absolutely have time to come back, but they've got to start playing defense.
Well, you're going to get an idea, too, of who Kerr thinks is his closing lineup, right? That they've been so comfortably ahead, he can kind of do this, that, or the next thing, that he's going to have to go to, these are my best 5, and we're going to ride it out because it's close.
I think if that's what's going to happen, he's going to have to put Durant, LeBron, Curry, AD, and probably Derek White ahead of Booker because they have to play defense.
Yeah, yeah.
And then just hope Durant goes off. But I would take Embiid out and put AD in. He's done
Holiday.
that now.
Or Holiday,
and then
too.
do you have the guts to keep Anthony Edwards off the court with the game on the line in the fourth quarter?
Well, he said it all goes through him, right?
Well,
the tournament
they've been
started.
going through him for the first 3 quarters,
Yeah.
and they're down 6.
Durant missed a shot right there. AD, nice little putback.
AD should
along
be in
the
there
way.
because he goes, but he's a two-way player.
Yeah, he
they
can
don't have very many of
both
those.
ends of it as well. You guys all set?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Mason and Island coming up next.